Britain's institutions and their accompanying intelligentsia are in the grip of a profound moral confusion over the question as to which master they should actually be serving. A philosophical bifurcation has divorced the country's direction of travel from the interests of the British public, and liberal mysticism about individualism and human rights has concealed the Britain's institutions and their accompanying intelligentsia are in the grip of a profound moral confusion over the question as to which master they should actually be serving. A philosophical bifurcation has divorced the country's direction of travel from the interests of the British public, and liberal mysticism about individualism and human rights has concealed the rot which is eating into the deeper and intrinsic nature of human relations. Rather than serving the British people, the British elite have found themselves committed to an abstract international doctrine of universal rights, and it is well understood that rights create conflicting claims between people which must be mediated by the institutions, and our institutions and elite appear not to have the wit to understand where their loyalties are supposed to lie. There is much talk of civil war at the moment, but I think that this is a misnomer. We don't have a good word to describe what is actually happening, and people default to civil war as a general term for a period of social conflict. However, I don't think this will be a civil war in the classical sense, in which two factions of elites divide a country between them and battle one another for supremacy. What is happening now is instead more like a betrayal by the elite class against the rest of society. The clients of this elite class have switched from being sections of the native public to what are essentially foreign enclaves that they have imported in against us. This has, therefore, created ethnic tensions in a country which is actually not used to such things. The groupishness of the newcomers has acted against the fair-mindedness of the natives, and this has allowed abominable depredations to be visited by the former on the latter, and there is no method for justice to properly be claimed by its victims. People can sense the tension this state of affairs has created, but don't know how it will properly express itself, and clumsily describe this as the fertile ground for a civil war. I'm going to try and draw a line under this and summarize as best as I am able what the problems are and what the solutions must be. While attempting to find a rational grounding for the identification of just wars and the desirability of peace under a universal and therefore international law, Dutch theologian and diplomat Hugo Grotius noted that there was a kind of double occupancy of a people over a territory. In his 1625 work, De Jure Belli ac Pacis, on the right of war and peace, Grotius explains that in any given territory there exists both ownership of property and the collective jurisdiction of the people as expressed by the state. An individual can own a certain area of land, the people as a collective noun control the territory. Group membership is important to the people then, as it ensures the personal and collective security of the life, property and liberty of each individual member. Moreover, the we in we the people, the state, then the majority can feel at ease, knowing that their rights and interests are being looked out for by the political expression of them as a people, the Leviathan. And people primarily access this feeling of nationhood through the non-rational, non-appetitive section of themselves. Plato's tripartite soul provides us with this rough conceptual model of how to understand the nature of the forces at play within us. The reason, logos, represents our rational mind. The appetite, epithumia, represents our bodily desires. And the spirit, thymos, represents the passionate, willful aspect. Political theorist Francis Fukuyama leans heavily on this conceptual framework in his influential 1992 book, The End of History and the Last Man, and there is much merit in his
Shit. I was muted. I apologize. I'm an idiot. So anyways, the video is talking about a potential civil war in Britain. And right now, he is discussing why he thinks that civil war isn't a good term for what's going on, and the politics and philosophy therein.
His thesis, what he terms the thymotic aspect of political life, is serviced by the collective sense of politics as a felt activity, rather than the rational calculation of individual interests, and national identity becomes a proxy for the outpouring of these feelings. There is no rational debate to be had when a people feels that they are losing the jurisdiction of their homeland because it is not reasonable to ask them to give it up. The protection of their lives, liberty and property is contingent on their national state being receptive to their political concerns, and if it isn't, then the state itself becomes their primary enemy. It is not a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It
gets thrown around a lot, and it's so glib. The end of history. Well, aren't you a self-important prick? Thinking that you just so happen to be one of the humans living at the end of history.
The foreboding and mysterious presence of the far right. The thymos is the source of politics in which the far right actually consists. They are not employing the rational logos in order to make their political calculations. They are employing the spirited thymos, which is why there is no rational discourse to be held on the subject, because the forces which move such politics are in honour, respect, and dignity. The rational liberal searches in vain for an ideology behind the far right, but the use of the term belies an ignorance of the subject. Instead of a calculated logical framework of a priori ideas, one encounters instead a turbulent well of feeling. The prejudice of the logos-driven liberal drives them to reject this form of politics outright, rather than interrogate the subject. A small amount of reflection will reveal that much of human life is indeed not rational, and is instead driven by habitual and relational considerations, which themselves become political. Modern liberals have narrations.
The mind is divided like a rider on an elephant, and the rider's job... The mind is divided like a rider on an elephant? That makes no sense. And the rider's job is to serve the elephant. The rider is our consciousness, reasoning, the stream of words and images of which we are fully aware. The elephant, just the other 99% of mental processes about when they occur outside awareness. Okay. Poorly articulated, but I understand what he's saying. Unfortunately. What? What is it? Yes, I see your carrot. Are you showing Daddy your carrot? Oh, you were trying to share? Yeah. you bamboozle me. You act like you want to share your carrot, then you take it away. Nope. Nope. No cord for you. We've been over this. No. Yeah, unfortunately, high likelihood that if a civil war breaks out, it's very likely the USA government would support the government, not the nationalist. But we'll see.
Which themselves become political. Modern liberals have become obsessed with representation for a reason. whilst they can attempt to rationally construct a framework in which each person is logically recognized as themselves, they cannot escape Hume's dictum that reason is the servant of the passions. What the liberal politics of representation conceals through this calculated framework is that the beating heart of all true political expression is the thymos, its form of politics that the thymos recognizes. Indeed, this is why Donald Trump is the President of the United States of America and Kamala Harris is not. He appealed to the thymotic desires of the American people, and they responded to him in kind. He is their champion. In him, they have a collective recognition of the American people as a people, and they possess a Leviathan that acts in their interests, a truly national state. Moreover, it's why Trump's recent intervention between Iran and Israel was so successful. Trump positioned himself as the Eastern King of Kings and demanded recognition and respect for the prestige of the United States as the hegemon. Iran and Israel were overawed by the power of America and the potential consequences which might come of denying it. Fukuyama also seems to be correct in his Hegelian analysis of the situation. If people vie for recognition in a struggle against one another for individual power in the state of nature, it would be unsurprising that they would also do so when actual political power is on the line. Access to the grace of the state requires recognition from the state. If there are competing groups with divergent priorities making conflicting demands of the same state, then that state has to choose which group to serve, the minority or the majority. And in the case of the British state, it has made its choice. This is why the British public feel that they are living in a two-tier society. The British state has turned its face away from the native thymos of the far right, and instead busies itself with preserving the dignity of the minority groups it cultivates, even when those minority groups commit atrocities against the majority. It should not come as a surprise, then, that this is treated as a betrayal of the worst kind. Immigration into Britain has never been a popular or desired policy position. The British public never asked for it. More than having migration forced upon them, though, the British state has dedicated itself to the proposition that foreign populations have as much claim to the British Isles as the indigenous population does, because the modern liberal state interprets all interactions with individuals or groups through the lens of universal human rights. And so by this standard, the liberal state imbues itself with the obligation to uphold the dignity.
But that's not even it. But the core reason for what they're doing, it's far more malicious than that. The reason that the far left is flooding Western countries with third world shithole immigrants is that they want to destroy white Western countries. If it was about universal human rights, they would be perfectly fine with white people going and invading Mexico. And what do you see instead? Liberals bitch and moan about that. When white people go and gentrify the border towns in Mexico because California is getting too expensive, the white liberals bitch about that and call them colonizers. When passport bros go to other countries to find a woman that has traditional values, wants a piece of the good life in the USA, they call them passport bros and mock them. It's not about universal human rights. It's about destroying the white West.
Each individual in opposition to anything that might infringe upon it, which sounds nice in theory, but in practice has resulted in the state penalizing the native majority ethnic groups and privileging foreign and minority groups. Liberalism, rather than being...
Huh?
I was asking if she was in here giving you a hard time.
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
But not too hard. No, you say I'm mostly being a good girl, but I tried to break Daddy's mug. And so that was not good of me.
Oh no.
And I keep grabbing Daddy's cord. But I also have been looking up at Daddy really cute and getting forehead kisses, so it's all okay. Isn't that right, sweetie?
Yeah. The fact that you were such a cute pudge makes it all worth it.
Yep. The cutest pudge.
are
You
the
tell Mommy I've been gnawing on this carrot piece that Daddy gave me.
Did Daddy give you a carrot? Yeah. Is it yummy? Yeah. You like it? Is that you telling me you want me?
You want to go to Mommy?
Be soon. Huh? Is
Okay.
Yes?
Whee!
Hi. This thing is going to be a monster. It looks like.
Dibs.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Dibs. Ah, it's a Grumple. Hey Grumple, you down? Are you busy with your own stuff, or are you down to accompany me in VC and serve as a little bit of extra life? It'd be nice to have someone to bounce off of that has, good energy.
Testosterone.
Yeah, testosterone. That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have him, Wolf, Maru.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rev when Rev shows up.
Yes.
Kind of.
Are you saying race car doesn't have testosterone?
Oh shit! I forgot about racist car. I'm sorry, race car. Yep. Oh, and Owen, but Owen doesn't come in VC very much.
Yeah. What? What? Yeah, Mommy is here. What? Why do you keep reaching your arms out like that? What are you trying to do? I don't understand this. What is this thing you keep doing with your arms where you reach out like that? What are you doing? Because you're already up. What?
She's just trying to raise the roof, man. She's trying to have a good time. Isn't that right, sweetie? You just trying to raise the roof. And I'm just saying, party!
I don't know. Let's see. It's 7:30. I guess I could start dinner. Yeah. What is that? I don't know what that is. What? What is that? What? What are you trying to... Where did Amnes go?
She's like, I got your
Where
eyes.
did Amnes go? Where is she? There she is! There's Amnes! What? What?
I can in a bit, finishing up some work, eating. I didn't have anything planned to stream tonight. Give me about an hour. Okay. Speaking of giving you about an hour, give me about a minute.
What? You're so cute. Okay.
By a minute, I mean a few seconds here. And then you gotta make Daddy a chocolate cobbler after dinner.
Oh, okay. That's what you want. I have a little bit of marshmallow mousse left too. If you want to like top it with that. Unless now you want something else instead.
Well, no, I was just thinking like if only we had something graham cracker adjacent, we could make like what would that be? A s'mores cobbler.
Yeah. Because I have.
What's up, Airshot?
I have milk.
Word to your mother.
Because I have milk chocolate. Yes, I do. What? What are you,
Didn't even see the redeem.
what are you doing?
Also, speaking of streaming, I played that Lockdown Protocol a few times. Been playing with Ranger, do enjoy. Oh, I didn't play it very much when I did try it. But if we got a big group together, I'd be willing to do that. Sure.
What? Yes, Mom.
A creed of referee who polices the oppressive interactions between members of the majority group against the minority group, always finding in favor of the minority. Indeed, the very act of negative characterization of the minority group is punishable to the maximal extent.
Oh, that was a song request? I didn't see a redeem for that. Okay. So walking on the sun, I thought that was some kind of a weird, I thought walking on the sun was some kind of a turn of phrase I was unaware of. Like an idiom. What? I know that, but I'm saying when I didn't think Panda was gonna ask for a parody of that song. I didn't know he knew any good music. All right, so that about Civil War in the West, huh? It ain't no joke when all the fathers and the brothers start shooting each other and breaking off their knees. They're trying to kill the government. They want to get back at them for the immigration. So don't delay, shoot now, the time is running out. We gotta kill the guys who imported all these guys. And if you hurry, there may be a country, but if you don't pull the trigger now, you might as well be overrun. Do 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 do. You might as well be overrun. Do 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 do. There you go. Ranger,
Does
Jackie.
that count as twice today?
Yeah, I guess.
Yay! What are you doing? I don't know what this thing
Yeah.
is. You're so cute. Okay, Mommy.
I'm sure Maru would play. I'm sure Maru would play. And we could probably get Z on. Because it's free, right?
Because it constitutes racism, the highest conceptual crime known to the liberal mind.
The disorder is intolerable. It is incapable of justification. It's clearly racist, and it does not represent the modern, forward-looking Northern Ireland that I know that this place is.
Empowered by this concern about racism, the liberal state becomes inquisitorial and persecutes the far-right resistance to native displacement and political disempowerment. Despite reasonable nativist concerns, the state is forced to place itself against the very people of whom it is a product and repress them to maintain public tolerance. This was most exemplified in Keir Starmer's reaction to the Southport riots.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt,
Starmer is such a
those that have
scumbag.
participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. Up this action online and then running away.
Hell is near.
themselves. This is not protest. It is organised.
It's hard to say you're wrong?
Thuggery.
Rather than express any sympathy with the rioters, he condemned them in the harshest terms and proceeded to use the full force of the Leviathan against them. And look where that has got him in the polls.
Either way,
It's also
welcome in.
important to note that it is very rare to encounter a non-Western group that considers politics as purely a rational affair. Most engage in precisely the same kind of climatic politics as the far right, and the natives can see it. The liberal state, therefore, seems to pick its favourites malevolently, and appears to even permit outrages by the minority populations against the majority, and it does nothing to stop the minority populations from revelling in their newfound superior status.
We can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada, right in your face.
We have Canadian law here, and you say that you want Sharia law to displace Canadian law. That doesn't sound very respectful.
In majority, you wouldn't have any other option. Go to your queen and tell her to change the laws.
The laws to what, sir? To Sharia law?
No, change the laws to not allow any more Muslims to come to Canada. We owe our allegiance and our loyalty first and foremost to our religion, not to the queen.
This is not just a
And there you have it. Listen hard. Muslims owe their allegiance to their satanic death cult first. We are trying to explain this to you. We are begging you to get this through your infinitely thick fucking skulls. Hit me up about one. I couldn't find it, so I just bought it and fired it in the last week or so.
unfair,
But it
begins
isn't
to amount to a
frequent.
foreign occupation without war being declared or a shot fired. There is a reason that Professor David Betts and others are warning that we have arrived at the sufficient threshold for civil war.
Oh, I
Because
agree,
when an
Grumple. I
intransigent
agree.
state empowers minority communities against the majority, it appears to be a situation that must be remedied one way or another. The only answer is for the liberal state to concede that groups can make rights claims and that the British people have the primary claim to Britain. The loyalty of the elites must also be towards their own country and not to an abstract moral doctrine, and the decision-making institutions must be recalibrated to accept this new order. However, I fear that since the rational liberal mind is impervious to arguments made from thymos, they will not be persuaded, leaving the only avenue remaining for these pent-up forces to express themselves to be conflict.
Well, by the end of the video, I would say that his deduction is that there will be a civil war. That's a fun prospect. The discoveries that prove humans are absolutely insane. Okay. Now for something a little bit less serious.
I think it's actually not possible for a character to be cooler than Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's so true. He's so fast and blue.
I drew a picture of him. Here.
Whoa! You drew that? By yourself? He's so fast and blue?
Did you know Democrats are the most college-educated political party and have the most degrees? Yeah, I guess that's why normal people can't understand us, but it's the price of intellect, I guess.
Oh, that's what I was smelling.
Yeah, maybe we lose because we're too
That's
smart.
what I was smelling.
You know, like, people can't understand us. Yeah, I mean,
So
we're
you
gonna
can see
lose the
here,
next
these
election
are like
probably because
speed
of how
lines,
smart
so you
we
know that
are.
how fast he
And
is.
why we lost
Like
the
he's
last
going
one.
really.
But I mean, like, what do you expect?
Like he's really
when you're
fast.
Whoa!
smart?
You
I
thought
have
of
an
that?
IQ
You
of
are so
112.
creative.
Oh, thank you.
Like the only
Wow,
people who
I
can
really appreciate
understand
that.
you are other former gifted children. I was saying, when you're like really smart, like as a party,
Monkey wins.
people might just not relate to you.
That's nice.
Oh, I mean, maybe he just feels left out. Hey man, look, I drew Sonic.
And in quite a pedestrian manner, I may add. Perhaps you next time draw as good as Picasso would. Then I would be interested, perhaps. That's the name of an artist I like.
Just ignore him. I love the legs. You did a great job.
Oh yeah, so
He's going so fast, his legs are like a number 8, and sometimes I think when I'm running really fast, maybe I even look like that.
Oh, I get it now. Wow, that's so cool.
You know, conservatives...
I've pretty much been drawing my whole life, especially Sonic.
Whoa, you're really artistic.
Conservatives say, oh, college
I've been drawing my whole
indoctrinates
life,
kids.
especially
my
Sonic.
mom encouraged me a lot. Honestly, I would not.
This is painful to watch because it's like this dude is like I don't know. This guy clearly has an IQ of 80, but also it's like, but he's earnest. You know what? He's just a chill. Like, hey, I go to the gym, I lift heavy shit, and I draw Sonic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard not to like this guy. He's just a simple bro taking his girl on a date, getting a drink, drawing Sonic, and then the other dude's, you know, a liberal. Fucking freedom dudes, man. This is so stupid.
Be drawing like this if it wasn't for her.
Your mom sounds really cool.
You know, conservatives say...
I always liked drawing Sonic because of how fast he is, and I'm also fast.
Conservatives say...
So, we have that in common.
You know, conservatives say...
You are? Maybe...
I do notice that her arms have more mass on them than the libs. That's a good point, Grumple. That's an astute observation. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
I could watch you run sometime.
Conservatives say, oh, college indoctrinates kids. No, more like people get educated and become Democrats because we're smarter. More like people learned facts and became more liberal. Sounds like just like saying liberals are more smarter than conservatives
strong
to
together.
me.
Can we go?
Sure, yeah. Let's grab a table and you can watch me draw some more.
Awesome!
Anti-intellectuals!
Some people aren't impressed by degrees anymore.
Yeah? Say that after you've gotten a PhD.
What's yours in?
Communications.
Become a member at freedomtunes.com for exclusive cartoons.
Having a degree in communications is like having a riding lawnmower. It's like, oh man, that sure is cool. How much did you pay for it? Oh, wow. And it's like just a little bit better than the other thing. And in this case, the other thing in the education realm would be like YouTube videos. I will never understand people that go to college for communications. Get a communications degree. It's like, so what'd you learn? Oh, you know, stuff. Perhaps they shouldn't have eaten that dragon. What about a diesel lawn tractor mower for with a PTO for implements? A PTO? What the hell is a PTO for implements? Power takeoff, you can add trailers that do more stuff. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the tractors that have the drive at the back that you can hook stuff up to. I mean, you have me there, Owen. A riding lawnmower does serve a purpose, but the point I was making was a riding lawnmower is just a fancier version of a push mower. And a communications degree is just a fancy version of watching some YouTube videos. Like, old Jeeps like CJ5 and I think even had them back when you could get Jeep stuff from the Sears catalog. God, getting about as what now? Do you just look for places to insert wiping your ass with a Sears catalog into conversation?
No.
It feels like you do. Like, Caitlin, I cannot begin to describe to you how often it is you bring up wiping your ass with the Sears catalog. Like, legitimately, you bring that up all the time. It has a humorous aspect to it, but it's not relatable, Caitlin. How many people are currently alive that have had to wipe their ass with the slick side of a Sears and Roebuck catalog in winter? Oh yeah, that's the problem with society, Caitlin. Yeah. Yep, the problem with society is that not enough people have experienced going out to the outhouse and taking a shit in winter and only having the slick side of the Sears and Roebuck catalog to use as toilet paper. That is the problem with society, folks.
Yeah, we'll see this. Yeah, that's my great struggle. Being stuck in that situation.
The slick side. I've been there. Shut the fuck up, Owen.
Everyone fucks you in the
I think a more apt comparison would have been a non-motorized push mower versus a motorized push mower. Okay. Right, but riding lawnmowers are for like large swaths of land as opposed to push mowers being for small city lawns. I guess, Owen, but it really feels like you're just nitpicking, Owen. It feels like you're just looking for ways to nitpick the analogy. Owen's like, I gotta make the analogy better. Zach didn't do the analogy good enough. Oh, God. I'm Owen. Oh, yeah. You okay? You okay? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My wife just got fucking eye raped by a lemon. Apparently my wife was cheating on me with it because it squirted right in her face. That wasn't my intent, but just how my brain interpreted. Also, you met my dad. You should know why I'd have to have the slick side of a magazine. Yeah, that doesn't... Yeah.
So in the wake of Britain decriminalising abortion up until the point of birth, I started thinking about this. Why the concept of abortion is just so important to young women. As you can see here, from this survey that was done in 2024, for women aged 18 to 29, 39% of them said abortion was the most important issue that they faced. Wow, that's pretty shocking. Way ahead of inflation, way ahead of threats to democracy.
Legitimately, Airshot, I wish you would take, like, stream content and YouTube poop it. Like, I legitimately wish that I got a YouTube poop of the adventurous stream on your channel. That would be the funniest shit ever.
Immigration and border security, Israel and Hamas war, the Ukraine war, gun policy. No. The right to kill my unborn children tops all of these. Now, in total, women, these are more important than abortion, but that's still 13%. And as you can see, when you go to the young women, well, I think it's pretty evident. And so,
well, if you ever want to do it, you just say the word. I will personally give you as much content as you like. I will send you VODs, bro. And that reminds me, by the way, I am going to just upload the entire raw VOD of that one stream that you said you really hope it stays up. Because the guy that I was going to have edit it, he didn't do that shit. And I ain't going through that stream to edit. That bitch is long. So, I'm just going to upload that.
Ask, well, why do you guys think that abortion is the most important? Because you can see I'm replying to Carla Denyer here. I think she's the co-leader of the Green Party, who for some reason decides to proudly announce that she's murdered one of her babies. She says, I had an abortion in my 20s. I know how important it is that women have control over our own bodies and don't face criminalization for our choices. You murdered a baby. But you murdered a baby. You had irresponsible, unprotected sex, and you murdered a baby. So...
more than once, apparently.
Like, the fact that you admit this in public is just remarkable to me. It's a very horrible thing to admit.
I had a abortion.
Says so to be one of the 379 MPs who voted to decriminalise abortion.
Just one baby
make
murder.
Abortion legal until the point of birth. It's like, that is wild, man. So literally the day before you give birth, you can murder your unborn baby. Would have been completely fine, and nothing will happen to you. They just have the right of murder in this country. And it's like, okay, so I mean, that's just basically infanticide, right? But anyway, so I thought we'd go through some of the quote tweets, just because some are quite incredible. As Big Monkey here says, women...
Yeah, I kept... because I work with him in real life, so I kept seeing him, and I kept bugging him about it, and he kept, like, saying, I'm going to get to it. And then one day, we're conversing, because we're friends. I have a good relationship with him. I like him. He's actually been on stream once or twice. Once, I think. But we're mid-conversation, and we're talking about something adjacent to it, and I'm just like, I'm never going to get my edits, are you? And he was just like, nah, probably not. I was just like, give him my thumb drive back. It's like, I really like you, man, but I really was hoping that you would do that for me and come through, and I could rely on him as an editor, but it's like, nope, I can't rely on him for that shit. Not at all. Like, damn it, man.
Have one power, the ability to make human life. It's logical that they want to have power over it. Well, the thing is, they do have power over it. They're the ones who get to decide if they're going to have sex with that guy or not. And I think the issue is Carla and other young women is that they want to just be frivolous with who they have sex with, but they don't want to bear the consequences of having sex with them. So, well.
So with that being said, hey, if anyone in the audience knows a good editor that you can vouch for that wants to edit for the stream, let me know.
If
Yep, I need a social media guy, and I need an editor and a social media manager.
the law is going to allow them to do that, and we give them the ability to simply murder the children who are the product of these sexual liaisons, well, then I can see that we have a bit of an issue, don't we? It seems that quite a lot of young women in America and here are a bit loose with their morals, right? Just saying that's what that is. So obviously he carries on and says that, in other words, they give up the power while believing it gives them more power. It's like, well, they do get power in a very narrow perspective of their life. And apparently that's very important to almost half of women in America, half of all young women. The English Way says the cult of the priestess always ends in child sacrifice. Well, this is another point, isn't it? It's a particularly feminine way of looking at the world. Right? If your desires are more important than the consequences of your desires and the effects that they have on other people, then yeah, I guess it does end in child sacrifice. This is why the Uranic principle is more important. This is why the Sky Father is the solar principle is you don't do this for yourself, you do this for others. And you can see how we've got the solar family. If you're not doing these things for yourself, then it doesn't end in child sacrifice. And actually, children are the thing you have to do things for and to produce a healthy, wholesome life. Or you can be
or a society
kind
that
of
functions for that matter.
Perennial floozy and make killing the children you produce the top issue that you have, right?
There's something else that merits saying here, and this is something Jordan Peterson harps on all the time. You sacrifice things to your highest value, okay? So, in the modern context, when people do bad things to their kids, and they're doing it for X, they're worshiping that thing, and they're giving up their children's well-being or lives. Hey! Yes, I hear you. You see her over here going, hey, hey, daddy. My daughter's trying to get my attention. So, when women abort their children, they are sacrificing their children to their own hedonic desires. Their freedom to act in a hedonistic manner without consequence. They are literally sacrificing a baby to the god of desire. That is the most satanic shit I can fucking imagine. Me having sex as much as I want is more important than the literal life of my child. Y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. That's all I can say. Like, holy hell, y'all need Jesus. Same thing with the trans cult. Oh, me paying tribute to the god of queerness, which is Satan, is the most important thing I could possibly do. I better cut my kid's dick off. I better put my kid on puberty blockers. I can't imagine something more overtly satanic. Yeah.
Gerbil here says they're told they never have a right. They're never told they have a right to wait until marriage to have sex. Majority of parents don't teach marriage traditions to their own children anymore. To add more insult to injury, they were also taught that being the breadwinners for their own children, something that isn't even possible to do now with neglect. Yeah, so this is another thing where it's men and women were taught the same thing. Men obviously want sex with women biologically as a more powerful immediate drive. Women obviously want sex with men, but the women tended historically to be more discerning about this. And feminism is trying to make them into essentially human bonobos, where just sex is just something that everyone does, Brave New World style, right? And that requires the liberation of women from the consequences of sex. And so why would they need to be taught to wait until marriage to have sex? Why women can murder their children right up until the point of birth? Like, what's the point of a marriage tradition? Why would you need to get married if you're a man or a woman, right? So Orc Brown says, women wanting bodily autonomy confuses men, and they wonder why women avoid their politics like the plague. Well, they don't. I can't help but notice that most women in America vote for Trump. Actually, only 40% of women are inveterate baby murderers. Only 40% of women are communists by this standard. Actually, most women don't avoid my politics like the plague. And to be honest with you, you have bodily autonomy. No one can force you to have sex with someone. No one's going to force you to be impregnated against your will. You choose to be impregnated. This is very similar to me saying, I don't consent to getting fat. I just consent to eating the cake. Like, why should I get fat because I've eaten a cake? I deserve my human rights. My bodily autonomy is being violated because I ate a cake and got fat as a consequence. It's like, well, this is the consequence of eating lots of cake. The consequence of having unprotected sex is that you get pregnant. Your bodily autonomy was in no way violated if the consequence is something you knew the risk when you took it, and you took the risk anyway. You used your bodily autonomy to get pregnant. Well, now
it's just like the same thing smoking. My bodily autonomy was violated by this tumor. How dare I get lung cancer? Bro, you knew cigarettes caused cancer? Yep. But the idea of responsibility is kryptonite to the liberal. Simple as that.
That's your responsibility. I use my bodily autonomy to eat that cake, and I got fat, and I have to take responsibility for that. It's no different, and sorry if you don't like the consequence. I don't like the consequence. You know, I wish cake didn't make me fat as well. And yet here we are.
What a world to live in. A cake doesn't make you fat.
I'm not carrying a giant moral burden for murder.
Free calories.
I'm just a bit fatter than I would want to be. This is amazing. So there are a bunch of replies on this. Very angry people. Right? Just me asking this question made these people just furious. Absolutely furious, right? They should revolve around the right to murder dipshits like you instead. The world would be better off. Well, I mean, I suppose it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? I mean, for the sluts who want to just have unlimited, unprotected sex, yeah, sure, the world's going to be better off for them. For the babies that they're murdering, though, I can't help but feel more people like...
It amazes me that this is incredibly common for the left. Someone raises a legitimate concern and says, women's rights should be murdering you. Like, wow. Okay. You think you have an argument, do you? You think you're the one on the right side of history, do you?
I mean, a few people like them would actually be more helpful. But also, I mean, you know, let's be honest. Are they going to do it? I don't think that's going to happen, right? So women don't tend to be as violent as men, actually, Alan. But I don't know. I do wonder if this chap is one of those sort of what is Gad Saad call them? Sneaky fuckers. Like, if I'm excessively progressive, then maybe one of them one day will take pity on me and allow me to sleep with them. They won't.
Yep.
By the way, just FYI.
They won't.
Anyway, Publius here. Murdering your own children is the highest expression of female hypergamy. Maybe. I think it's less to do with that and more to do with these young women wanting to get out of the life choices they've made. I think it's more about evading consequences. It's their right not to have children if they don't want to, regardless if they were safe or not during sex. Okay, me, my God. Like this, the dead mother comes out and she's just like, look, I deserve to have as much unprotected sex as I want, and I have a right not to have children. It's like, well, you don't. You have a right not to get pregnant, as in by not having sex, But once you have created a child, that child has rights too. And this is the problem with just unlimited rights claims.
This is what's wild to me. You have a right to not have sex. You have a right to contraception. You even have the right to like morning after pills, which ensure that a pregnancy doesn't take place. But as soon as you conceive, it's no longer about your rights. It's the child's rights too. God forbid we have a conversation about the rights of the most defenseless among us.
Well, they start conflicting. And at the moment, the den mothers are definitely winning. But the thing is, young men are increasingly becoming opposed to abortion in this country and in the United States. This ain't going to last forever, ladies, right? Eventually, when the boomers have passed on and the world is full of right-wing young men who are just like, no, I'm not actually up for you murdering children up until the point of birth. I think that's horrible, actually. I think just abortion itself is a pretty gross thing. But like if we kept it at like 13 weeks or something, okay, maybe we could compromise. But you don't seem to understand when you should quit, right? And now you've taken the whole thing to monstrous levels and absolutely disgusting proportions. And then to come out and flatly say things like this, what, is their right not to have children if they don't want to, regardless of whether they get pregnant? It's like, no, your choice to not have children is contingent on you not getting impregnated. If you got impregnated, like with me and the cake, well, you made your bed, and now you're just going to have to live with it, right? Like I said, more of these, because killing y'all is more frowned upon. It's like, okay,
oh man, you're so hardcore, bro.
Again, like, these seem like very happy people, don't they?
Right.
90% of the time, these women are having sex with people they don't want kids with. Well,
do I believe that young women will ever be persuaded to embrace conservative values? 100%. Young women are overwhelmingly left right now because that's the cultural zeitgeist that was predominant for a long time. And now that the cultural zeitgeist is swinging the other way, what do we see happening? More and more young women are gravitating towards the right, especially on social media. And as it gets more and more safe to say, actually, you know what, I don't agree with the baby murder, I don't think feminism's great, I do want to be a trad wife, I do want to stay at home for a man, I do want to be loyal to a man. And as more young men enter the voting marketplace, the job market, boomers die off, as the institutions that boomers have protected from right-wing infiltration get more and more infiltrated by the right, the cultural zeitgeist is going to continue shifting right, and it's going to accelerate towards the right. And eventually we're going to reach an inflection point where the curve years, maybe 10 years, and then it's going to start going down again. Mark my words, this is a very long-term prediction. I don't know when this is going to happen, but within my lifetime, the female affiliation of the left curve will start going down again.
it's interesting, isn't it? Maybe they shouldn't be doing that. Maybe actually this is, something we need to think about as a society. Do we want to be in the kind of society where women just have sex with loads of people they don't actually want anything long-term from, and then aborting all of the babies that are the consequence of that? He says, sex as liberation is only marketed towards women.
Oh shit, what's up, Moonshine? Been a minute since I saw you, dog. How's it going? Emerald! I am playing Ring of Elden, and I have the strength of 24. And I have everything else is at base level 10.
Yeah, absolutely. That's completely true. Because it's not liberating, and you'd have to be... I'm not going to say that. You don't get the gummy more, you just get lucky. Yeah, and that's
Sucks
really
to suck.
sad, isn't
Get
it?
good.
I mean, that's really reflective of the decline of our civilization. That there's no romantic myth for men and women now.
But Fireworks Day was
Go out
yesterday.
and do whatever you can do, and we'll just murder anything that becomes a problem after that. It's pretty horrible, you know? I mean, like, with the amount of women who consider abortion their most important political topic. I mean, it must mean that like a very, very large percentage of American women have had abortions. So, anyway, abortion is power over weak men. It is, but it's not just over weak men, right? It's also over the men that they're having sex with that they don't want to have kids with. It's power over not just life and death, but also the social framework that is built up to compensate and deal with the issues that come with pregnancy. I mean, this is just the destruction of the old world through abortion. Like, why would anyone want to marry a woman who's had sex with lots of guys she didn't want to have kids with and then aborted a bunch of children? Like, that's not a woman of good
I
character.
trust you, the book
That's
of
not
Get
wife material,
Good.
right? Anyway, Fear of God says, some feminists hate themselves for having a womb. For these people, that organ has become a symbol of oppression. And in a way, it's a very similar thing. And this is why birth control is, again, such an important thing for left-wing women, and also probably one of the reasons that left-wing women have a huge preponderance of mental health issues. This is not good for them, frankly. It's not making them happy, it's not making them healthy, but it is
Correct.
feeding a kind of drug-like addiction. He carries on. Abortion is the closest thing that they can come to that'll give them the same sexual freedom as a man without artificially altering their womb permanently. I don't agree. I don't think most men have that kind of sexual freedom, frankly.
Not these days, they
men have
don't.
far more restricted sexual freedom than women in the opportunities for partners that the average man has. Men don't have the level of sexual freedom that young women have.
Are you saying Skyrim is literally the only game you've played? Because if Skyrim is literally the only video game you've played, there's so many I would recommend before any of the Souls games. Because realistically, Elden Ring is the easiest Souls game. Moonshine is the best one to start with.
Men aren't the ones who can just go out and just make it happen. At least, most average men. I'm sure, like, the very top tier make this kind of thing happen in the same way that the average woman can, right? This is a fairly standard complaint. And so actually this is giving them a privilege that they have over men. So this is them going further than that, I would say. Jack says, why does so much of men's politics revolve around controlling women? Well, that's an easy answer. I don't want babies murdered. Right?
I hate it when the left just fire back with stupid little gotchas like that. Why do so much of men's politics revolve around controlling women? When a male murders a baby, we lock him in prison for 20 plus years. So maybe it's not about men controlling men and more about the principle of I don't want babies murdered. And there's really nothing else politically or socially that you can point to that there's like a large scale political or social movement to govern women's behavior. The repeal the 19th crowd is largely memers and shit posters. That's not a serious movement. The get women out of the workplace thing doesn't have any serious backing. Like, the only real serious political position that governs women's behavior is, hey, stop killing your babies. And we put anyone who murders babies in prison unless the baby is still inside of its mother. I just absolutely despise it when little shit stains tattoo Jack on Twitter. God. Skyrim, R2D2, GTA, and the Battlefront games are the only ones I play. Oh, bro, you should play. I don't know if you'd like retro games or not. I'll tell you right now, Final Fantasy, the entire Final Fantasy series is good. I particularly like 7, but 7, 8, 9, 10, I can vouch for all of those. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10-2 for that matter are all really good. I haven't played well, I've played a couple of them outside of that. The couple I've played outside of that I didn't care for. But they were later entries that some of the entries I played later, a lot of people had grievances with. Correct, Owen. Correct. Creates a hell of a double standard, doesn't it?
Don't want women to just murder babies, because that means hundreds of thousands.
I will say I have also played Knights of the Old Republic. That's also a Star Wars game. Knights of the Old Republic is really good. So just so you know, Moonshine, Final Fantasy is an anthology. None of the stories, with a few exceptions, none of the stories are connected. So like 7 and 8, totally different games. Totally different games. They have a lot of similarities between them. There's a lot of running themes throughout all of the games, and there's consistency through the games in some ways, but totally different story, totally different cast of characters. Some of the mechanics in the game are different. FF6, when the Ghost Train got suplexed, that's when the whole franchise peaked. Never reached that again. Grumple, I'm sorry, but Tifa Lockhart suplexing a literal god is in fact more hardcore. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Year are murdered, and I think that's wrong. I actually don't think it's good that they're chopped up in the womb.
I thought 8 was your favorite, Owen. 9 is really good. 9 is probably my second favorite. I think 9 is underrated. 9 is definitely underrated. And I don't know. I feel like 9, that the one thing that holds 9 back for me is the ending, and I feel like certain parts of the plot could have been fleshed out better. I feel like some things weren't explained very well. But overall, 9 was great. Oh, yeah. Yeah, God, Witcher 1 is hard to get through. It's hard to, in good conscience, tell someone to go play The Witcher 1. But it is worth it for the story. It's hard to get through that game because the controls are so bad. But, I don't know, maybe you could get a mod for it and get a completely revamped control package. If I was a god and I got suplexed, I would end it all. Legend of Dragoon is definitely a popular one that I've heard a lot of people mention. I've not personally played it. There was another one. Legend, I think it's Legaia. It is. So this is another good game. This is another really good retro game. It's a JRPG. And the story in this is pretty good. And the fighting mechanics are pretty fun. It is legitimately, in my opinion, a good game. I think it deserves a sequel or a remake, but I don't think it didn't have that. It didn't have the kind of popularity that some other games had, so I doubt we'll get it. But legitimately a good game. Mass Effect. That's another great one. The Mass Effect series was top tier. The Fallout series, but the 3 Bethesda ones, not New Vegas, really need mods to fix, improve quality of life. Also, the original Fallout have to check before you make a character. Some stats don't, and they're hard, so you don't want to waste attribute points. Mass Effect series 1 through 3, get the Legendary Edition ones. Yep. Yeah, the Mass Effect series was definitely a really good series. I deeply enjoyed those games. Some people say they weren't as good after 1. I disagree. I liked all 3 of them. I did not appreciate that they took away the infinite ammo mechanic. There was in-game lore that explained the infinite ammo mechanic, and when they took it away and explained why you now had limited ammo, the explanation didn't make any fucking sense, and it, like, little world building things like that pissed me off. And to me, the infinite ammo mechanic enhanced the gameplay. It made it more fun, so I really did not like them taking that away. I tried Bloodborne, now that I think of it. It was terrible, though. I have seen Bloodborne get played. I have not played it at all myself. The Fallout series is possibly not mechanically the best possible, but the future is really pulled it ahead. I still go back to the Mass Effect series sometimes. Yeah, I don't blame you. The Mass Effect series is great. The explanation should have been greedy corporations. Right? Welcome in. I'm just going to call you Kay. Welcome in. My name is Zach. I hope you're having a fantastic day. This is Joe Rogan I was telling you about. Can we get to it later? Probably not. Joe Rogan interviews are long as hell. Beth Shapiro? Is this Ben's mom or something? Ben made the transition.
What? I got you some kitty. Are you not gonna go see these? Are you not gonna go see these? What? No, you're not.
Okay, so 76, so probably not Ben's mom. Nope, just the same last name. Doesn't look like there's any relation.
There are lots of Hollywood Shapiros. I don't think that's a coincidence.
What was that?
I said there are lots of.
There's a motherfucker. I can't play hunting games. Like, that's not realistic.
Up until the point of birth, like when they're totally viable, they could survive out on their own in like 24 weeks or whatever it is. And I mean, look at this guy, right? It's like, you think it's right to abort babies that are that far gone? He's like, termination, like 8 months? No. Well, that's what we're fucking talking about, Jack. Right? Because that's what's going to happen in this country. So shut your little cuck mouth and get with the program, fucking moron. Honestly, these men, man. And then finally we've got Diane saying, women want it to be as easy for them to walk away from an unwanted pregnancy as it always has been for men. Well,
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them doing it. They're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the freaking frogs gay. I'm sick of this crap. Won't you do something for the frogs? Ah! Ah!
It's okay. Daddy's just playing.
Yeah, Daddy's fine. Daddy's A-okay.
Yeah.
You big silly.
Daddy's
You're being silly. Yeah, go back to sucking on your titty. You little titty monger.
Daddy's okay.
Excuse me. D cells are baller if you like roguelites. Buy more boner pills. Infowars.com. What chemicals even started this legendary clip? Atrazine. Atrazine is, I can't remember if atrazine's a pesticide or an herbicide, but it's one of those. And it legitimately causes for all become female.
That's the thing. It hasn't always been that easy for men, right? Because, like, it used to be that there was just this huge. I mean, where there haven't been like legal.
Watch it on your own time,
right
Panda.
now, you're on the hook for child support forever, right? But there used to also be a massive social stigma. It used to be that you would affect your life by doing this. It's the modern liberal society that says, well, you know, if a man just walks away, well, that's the way things are. If a woman gets an abortion, well, that's the way things are. That was their choice, and therefore it was good. And it's good that they have the choice to do everything. It's like, no, he should have been more circumspect. She should have been more circumspect. And if you did something that resulted in something happening, well, then that's your life now. You made a series of choices, and you have to live with those choices. Or at least that's what I think that should be the case. And if that means that we have to have a culture that is more conservative and more concerned about courtship and the choices that we make that have effects longer down the road, then that's the kind of culture that we should cultivate, rather than cultivating a culture of permissiveness and, frankly, baby murder. I'm just not for it. I'm just against it. I don't think this is good. And I think that if we've got to this point, then we really are being ruled by evil, aren't we?
It's a carrier chemical that kills plants by confusing their biology to uptake poison, but it fucks with the endocrine system of animals too.
Y'all wouldn't have any trouble playing together at all.
Yep, that sounds about right. Thank you, Kay.
I know. Maybe ask Jesus really.
Why are you sharing this, Panda? I wonder if ERB has released anything new. That's an old one.
Yeah.
Nope, that's the newest one they got. Oh my god. How did I miss this? Ladies and gentlemen, I interrupt this political stream for...
Social crime, they use Christine lonely. The only friend is a damsel in distress who cringes while you slip on a ripped off dress. You're a chimpanzee on the lips like a thunder. When I'm crushing on a girl, it means a foot she comes on. You're pathetic with the humans gendering their abuse, getting chained up and roofied on some goofy. You're like Jersey Smollett, this beat down is real. I got this battle covered like a Ben-Toted. I'll make an ass out of you like Nintendo did. The only game I play is Rampage, Lizzie. Beauty kills this beast that you trust ain't pretty. The way your ass brain is hanging with these monkey bars. You ain't got punchlines, you barely even got arms. You came off the base for Frankenstein, first time we made a movie. And I dumped on you like Barkley at the base of Mount Fuji. Face facts, cankles, you can't fill since yourself. So they bring the mammal in the nursery fills back to hell. Don't you close you to me, I'm as old as Death Row. Rippin' RKO, and we don't have to tell her. Eighth wonder of the world and the word when I rhyme. If you think you're mine, take a beat with mine. Just like your batting, which captions your words don't match your actions. You weren't even the bombest monster from the CG was cracking. I could stay in your land on the horizon, goldfish and rice. Come to New York and King Kong, a bing bong, fuck your life. You must be from Hollow Earth, all your threats are empty. I could blow you out with one breath, don't tempt me, monkey. That was some shit you just threw. Worst kind you come back in Pacific Rim 2. Kids outstanding Manila, you couldn't measure up to the shin of Godzilla. Stick to tongue wrestling, T-Rexes and sea snakes. You're such a joke, Jack Black's in your remake. Tighten your fish lips around, tenacious D, you ain't a rap Godzilla. More like Brave Me. Japan, you were a metaphor for nuclear war. But in Hollywood, they left your balls on the cutting room floor. And then the 90s didn't make you any cooler. What kind of bumpy chump gets pumped by Ferris Bueller? So go ahead and blow blue. I'm gonna make
bars right there.
I'm an oxygen destroyer, and now you're all doomed. Oh, you shouldn't try to talk about the atoms. The beast from 20,000 fathoms couldn't fathom. Could come at me with Iron Man and throw, I'll still destroy. I'm bigger than riches and I'm swinging digits and triplets like Victoria. My voice cuts deep like I'm rubbing on a double bass. I spit the words but turn Troll Island into Pompeii. Surfing up some animated rabbit fur Bombay. It's the saddest death of a gorilla since Harambe. Damn, I defy you, make me tokusatsu. Soft like some tofu, that's a kaiju haiku. See me out like I did to Mechanical. Fuck you and the balloons you roll in on. Anyways, I was more disappointing than your enemy. Like 98 is just another egg you lay. You ugly motherfucker, still don't know how you got pregnant. Your whole suit's a big rubber. I no fear of Gojira, I ain't here on no monsterverse. The only Honda vehicle that don't retain a war. There'll be no victory dance, your G fans will lead no sense. Cause if you drop kick at me, I'll shove a tree on your neck. On the apex, great with the 8 ass. Like all monsters attack your raps of recycled crap. This awful gorilla won't be bringing no silver bass. Just a Brian Cranston, you've been dead since the first ass. Oh, wow! Oh, God! Shogata!
I do agree it's a good thing they put subtitles on this one. Tragically, there were some phenomenal bars in here, but you couldn't hardly understand them because of the voice effects they put on, and that's really sad because some of the bars in here were actually like fire. Oh my. Come here.
Are you gonna hang out with Daddy?
Yeah, you can hang out with Daddy.
Cause I gotta finish making dinner.
You have to say, Mommy, bring me a toy or two so I got something to do.
Toys, okay?
You hang out with Daddy. Oh.
Bring you your cups. You love your cups.
Yeah, you love your cups.
You love your cups. Your shark cups.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here, you play with your shark cups.
Play with shark cups. You need to get your.
They're right there, Amnes.
Get your caterpillar man.
They're right here.
Get your Mr. Caterpillar man. If you want. Yeah, you can hang out with Daddy so I can finish making dinner, okay?
Did you already see the Napoleon one? Yes, I have seen the Napoleon one. Frankly, the one with William Wallace is better. And the one with, what's his Viking ass? Rollo's brother? Lothgar. Thank you, Ragnar Lothbrok. I combined his fucking names. God, sometimes I'm blonde. This one was good. This one was also pretty good. I'll tell you one that pissed me off. When they did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the artists they were named for, I clocked it. That first of all, that battle was way shorter than it should have been. Second of all, they gave the Turtles like 10 less seconds, and they spent half of it on like not rapping. I was actually pissed about that. I wonder if Screw Attack will redo Goku vs. Superman now that new lore confirms Ki is magic in DBZ. New lore confirms Ki is magic? That's kind of interesting. That is a huge retcon. God, yeah, that is a huge... And yeah, if Ki is magic, then Goku can probably beat Superman. Yeah. Da da da. Da 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 da. She's so silly. I love this kid. I'm not watching anything from Ruck Ali. His shit got stale a long time ago. Plus, he's a libtard, kind of. I don't know, it's weird. He exists in this weird place where he's like, I'm not a libtard, but also I'm not a Republican. Also, I try to make jokes that appeal to the right while still refusing to support their values. I'm a shameless fucking baiter. I'm a fucking grifter. My name is Rucka Rucka Ali. Fuck that guy. He loves the feeling of the fence slats between his butt cheeks. Fuck that guy. Fuck fence sitters. Like, oh my god, the left is so bad. I'm gonna make fun of them, but also I can't be a Republican because icky. He's like, dude, fuck you. There's a lot of Ian Rand fans on the right, dude. That's not a reason to not be a Republican or a conservative. There's plenty of Ian Rand conservatives. Granted, I think they're cucks, but they exist.
Obviously.
I'm curious. Not politics, but oh well.
Few questions hold greater importance in science than how it all began. What did the beginning of the universe look like? Why did it happen in the first place? And although we are a long way off from having a complete answer, scientists have learned enough that a theory has been conceived: the Big Bang. By examining stars and the spectrographic data given off by matter when light passes through it, we have assembled the jigsaw pieces of the Big Bang and have begun to form a picture of those first explosive moments. But here's the thing about jigsaws. Sometimes you find a piece that just doesn't fit. At that moment, you realize with a sinking heart, you've made a mistake.
She says, Dad, Dad. I love it.
Somewhere along the way, and you have no idea where. Is this what's happening to the Big Bang Theory? Or are we looking at our puzzle piece the wrong way round? It all comes down to an element we use every day. In medicines, alloys, and most importantly, the batteries in our phones. One that is strangely missing from the universe, at least in the amounts we would expect. So here's the big question: where is all the lithium? I'm Alex McColgan, and you're watching Astrum. Join me today as we examine the lithium discrepancy, a mystery that continues to confound scientists to this day, and might force us to reevaluate our models if we ever hope to answer the question of where we came from. To begin with, let's cover some of the basics about lithium. Lithium is a relatively simple element. It's one of the alkali metals, and for a metal is surprisingly soft, capable of being cut with just an ordinary steel knife. You might have seen it used in science experiments in school, as it reacts quite satisfyingly when mixed with water, producing lithium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. More commonly, it's used in phone batteries, laptop batteries, and in other electronic devices due to its high electrochemical potential. But the feature of lithium that makes it so important for our discussion is its internal structure. It's made with just 3 protons in the nucleus, meaning it's one of only a handful of very lightweight elements that could be created in the early moments of the universe. But it's the expected presence of lithium in the universe's beginning that causes our problem with the Big Bang model. So what do we think was going on back then? How exactly does lithium prove it's wrong? Well, the universe's origin is murky to us. After the discovery in the 1920s that our universe was expanding, a Belgian cosmologist, Georges Lemaitre, theorized that if the universe was getting larger and cooler, it used to be smaller and hotter, with all that energy being squeezed into a smaller and smaller area. The logical conclusion to this was that if you rewound the universe back to its very beginning, all of the universe's energy would exist in a single point in space. this singularity would be infinitely hot and dense, which makes sense. Based on that heat, this idea is known as the hot Big Bang model. But it's this infinity that causes the murkiness to creep in. Einstein's theory of relativity can be used to predict the motions of objects under the effects of gravity, but no equation tends to function when you start adding infinity into the mix. Hence, at the very first moment of the universe's origin, we don't have the equations to describe very well what was going on, or what caused the universe to start expanding. And with an infinitely hot and dense singularity, there's no way of knowing what might have gone on before it. Any evidence or signals from before that time would have been met with the hottest incinerator the universe has ever created. It happened somehow. That's all we can say for sure. At this point, there would be no lithium. The very start of the universe would have been simply too hot. After that though, even just 1 second after the universe begins to expand, the picture becomes much clearer. 1 second after the universe's expansion began, the temperature of the universe dropped down to a mere 10 billion degrees Celsius, which is actually only 1,000 times the temperature at the center of our sun. This was still hot enough that matter couldn't form yet. The fundamental force that holds together the nuclei of atoms would have been overwhelmed by this intense energy. So everything would have existed in the form of radiation instead, the remnants of which we can still see today in the cosmic background radiation. Discovering this became one of the proofs that scientists are onto something with this model. The universe didn't remain as just radiation for long. Just 99 seconds later, it would have cooled to 1 billion degrees Celsius, and the strong force would have kicked in. The universe's first protons by then had started forming, and began binding with neutrons, creating hydrogen and the 1 proton, 1 neutron isotope of hydrogen known as deuterium. Hydrogen and its isotopes, or versions of hydrogen that had the same number of protons, but more or less neutrons, were the most common element in the universe. But hydrogen wasn't the only one. Everything was still filled with so much energy that the hydrogen protons frequently smashed into each other, underwent nuclear fusion, and soon created the larger, more complex element helium with 2 protons. Once you run the equations, in the primeval universe, matter was nearly 76% hydrogen and nearly 24% helium. But sometimes, very rarely, another proton would merge with the other 2 and would form isotopes of lithium, bringing the number of protons up to 3 in these atoms. By mass, this made up only 0.0000007% of matter in the early universe. But here is where the mystery comes in. By examining the spectroscopic data from stars, or by evaluating that same light as it passes through clouds of matter, we can evaluate the distributions of elements in the universe today. And what we see roughly matches this prediction. Our own sun is, by mass, 71% hydrogen, 27% helium, and 2% other heavy elements. Which makes sense, as the sun would have had time to undergo more nuclear fusion in its lifetime, slightly altering the ratios of these elements. These ratios are mirrored throughout the universe as a whole, another strong proof that the hot Big Bang model and our equations are right, and that the universe did evolve in this way. And yet, our predictions about lithium are wrong. Although the prediction for the amount of lithium in the early universe is really low, the prediction is actually still too high compared to what we see. 3 times too high. Or, to put it another way, as we study the spectroscopy of primordial stars, further away the star, the earlier in time the light would have left it, we don't see anywhere near the amount of lithium we ought to be seeing if our prediction was correct. There are further mysteries surrounding lithium. Lithium-7 is the isotope that we tend to see in the early universe. This means that a lithium atom has 3 protons and 4 neutrons in its nucleus. But there is another isotope of lithium, known as lithium-6, with 1 fewer neutron, that is meant to be much less stable and much less common than its counterpart, supposedly making up only 2 out of every 100,000 lithium nuclei. While the amount of lithium in the universe is too low, the ratio of lithium-6 to lithium-7 is much too high. Lithium-6 is a staggering 1,000 times more prevalent in the early universe than it should be. So, what does this mean for the hot Big Bang model? Is it really back to the drawing board for our most trusted theory about the universe's origins? Not necessarily. 2 possibilities exist. one that involves rewriting the Big Bang Theory as we know it. But there is another explanation that might just hold the answer to it all. Given the importance of lithium in technology, we could definitely do with more of it. But there are other chemicals and minerals out there that are beneficial to us, such as ferulic acid, ethyl ascorbic acid, and hyaluronic acid. Don't be fooled by the word acid. In the right amounts, these are all actually surprisingly good for our skin, reducing wrinkles, improving skin hydration, and generally making us feel fresh and younger. And what do they have in common? They're all 50% off your trial skincare set, and up to 50% off any add-on you want to grab. Give it a try. When faced with something like this, one of two things must be true. Either our observations are wrong, or our models are wrong. Let's consider each possibility. It's difficult.
I find it hard to believe that the observations can be 100% correct. Because essentially, when you're... Well, how to say this? It's kind of a mix of both, in my opinion, because what we're observing with what is probably going to be considered in 100 years extremely primitive technology. Might be state of the art now, but it's primitive compared to what we'll be using soon. Is showing that we may actually be living within a black hole, that our universe is contained within it, and that the Big Bang was the rebound of the matter in the singularity. I have a video on it if you want to see. I saw people throwing around that theory recently. And man, if we exist within a black hole, that has some amazing implications, in my opinion. Because if we exist within a black hole, then who's to say that going into a black hole is actually a death sentence like we thought? You know? And that also means, so if we exist in a black hole, then is going through another black hole how you get outside of this black hole? Are black holes actually wormholes that go to each other? Or do you just keep going further and further down dimensions? Do you get smaller and smaller and smaller each time? Does reality get infinitely small? These are the questions. Isn't that right, Ambius? Yes. It's crazy to think about, isn't it, sweetie? Absolutely crazy to think about. Even smaller than your little baby face. I know, that's so small, but yes, even smaller than your little baby face.
To throw out the hot Big Bang model completely. Nothing else does as good a job at explaining the existence of the cosmic background radiation, or the amount.
But anyways, yeah, so like I was saying, I find it hard to believe that the inferences we're making based off of the technology that we have now could possibly be 100% accurate. And of course, the inferences we're making, let's even assuming our observations are good, you can only, all of these projections and all of these models, they're based on math. And we're just assuming the math should be close to right. Which is, again, a pretty big damn assumption. Our models can't even model the damn weather with 100% accuracy. And we think we got the beginning of the universe figured out. That's fucking hubris. I'll be upgrading my PC again, and then I'll be turning my old one into a server. Gonna be able to host my own shit. Can't wait. That's cool. Oh, yeah? You smell what Mama's cooking? This smells delicious, doesn't it? Eh? Yeah.
Amounts of hydrogen and helium that we see in our universe. The quantities of those elements check out almost exactly with the hot Big Bang's predictions, which seems to be too perfect to be a coincidence. That said, scientists are becoming less certain about the model as it stands. Stephen Hawking, who was once one of the leading advocates of the idea that our universe began with a singularity, later went off the idea. In his book, A Brief History of Time, he stated, "Roger Penrose's and my work became generally accepted, and nowadays nearly everyone assumes that the universe started with a Big Bang singularity. It is perhaps ironic that, having changed my mind, I am now trying to convince other physicists that there was in fact no singularity at the beginning of the universe. As we shall see later, it can disappear once quantum effects are taken into account." Those quantum effects are too complicated to go into for this video, and this doesn't necessarily solve the lithium problem even if true, but it does highlight that the origin of the universe is an evolving branch of physics and cosmology, where the full explanation of it has not yet been found. Perhaps our models will one day adjust in such a way that the lithium problem falls away, even as the broad brushstrokes of the theory remain in place, letting the jigsaw piece of the lithium numbers fit nicely with hydrogen and helium. The other option is that there is something wrong with our observations, and there may well be some grounds to this. Because of the small amounts of lithium being discussed, it's quite difficult to see the exact amounts of it that exist in the interstellar medium once you look far back enough. The only way to probe the interstellar medium's makeup is to shine a light through it, and then see which lines in your spectrograph get blocked out. This can tell scientists what elements might make up a particular nebula or dust cloud, but this gets harder and harder to do the further away the target is. Eventually, it becomes completely impossible to get an exact estimate. Instead, scientists are left looking at the spectrographs of primordial stars, which are not necessarily representative of the universe as a whole at that time. A star is a special case. Something going on inside there might be altering the amount of lithium present within, converting the lithium into something else, while boosting the amount of lithium-6, although it's difficult to guess what that process might be. If our observations could improve, and we could better measure the amount of lithium in the early universe as a whole, perhaps the numbers would come back into line on their own. Maybe the lithium problem never existed in the first place. Ultimately, no answer to how the universe came to be will ever be complete until all the available data matches the theory's predictions, whether that's lithium or other problematic elements in the universe like the overabundance of gold out there, which I talk about in this video here. All these numbers have to be brought into line. There is still so much to learn about the universe's origins. I do find it incredible just how much we are able to learn and deduce about events that happened billions of years ago, back before matter itself had properly formed, using just our telescopes and our minds. That picture, the grand picture of how it all began, is waiting to be assembled to solve the lithium problem too. How can we resist when the answer to our ultimate origins awaits? Some questions are just too important to leave unanswered, and I, for one, can't wait for the day this jigsaw piece is ultimately completed.
Oh, I love this channel. Okay. Funny enough, I think I made this.
Black holes are some of the most terrifying and mysterious objects in the universe. Regions so dense that not even light can escape. But recent theories suggest they may be more than just cosmic voids. In fact, what's inside might look disturbingly familiar. That's because scientists might have just found something hidden deep within black holes. Us. In March 2025, the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, captured images that could change everything we thought we knew about the universe. If you're unfamiliar with the James Webb Space Telescope, then here's a bit of background. Launched by NASA in December 2021, this telescope is our most powerful eye into deep space, capturing the cosmos in unprecedented detail. Since its debut, it's transformed how astronomers view the early universe. Among some of the most interesting finds made by the James Webb Space Telescope were images of as many as 263 galaxies beyond our own. And it was these other galaxies that actually held the first indicator that would lead to the black hole discovery. When the JWST launched, scientists expected a roughly even split, half of distant galaxies rotating like the Milky Way and half in reverse. But what the telescope found shattered that assumption. Of the 263 galaxies captured in its images, nearly 2/3 were spinning opposite of the Milky Way's direction. So what gives? What makes our galaxy one of a third of outliers all spinning counterclockwise? The images from the telescope seem to imply that there is actually a preferred direction of galactic rotation. But why isn't ours spinning this way in this confusingly coordinated cosmic chaos? Well, that's where the effects of black holes come in. potentially playing a bigger hand in our universe than scientists might have initially thought. While it's not entirely clear what causes roughly 1/3 of observed galaxies to rotate counterclockwise, astronomers are focusing on two main theories. The first is tied to black hole cosmology, the idea that matter and energy are pulled.
Hey, Kate. Remind me to do some thinking on the black hole thing, like the universe inside the black hole thing, and decide how I'm going to use that. Okay.
Into a black hole and could exit through a theoretical structure known as a white hole. Since we don't know yet what exists inside a black hole, or if anything can exist, this theory suggests that black holes and white holes could be connected as two ends of an Einstein-Rosen bridge, more commonly known as a wormhole. We know that black holes form when massive stars collapse under their own gravity. Building on this,
Is this video about to suggest that the Big Bang is actually a white hole? Or was a white hole? I guess that would be is, potentially.
theoretical physicist Nikodem Popławski from the University of New Haven proposed that the collapse could create not just a black hole, but also give birth to an entirely new universe on the other side, a white hole connected through an Einstein-Rosen bridge. In essence, it would be a cosmic gateway between universes, with all the matter and energy from one side being steadily...
Ha! I called it. I'm smart. Oh, I tuned in and we're talking about white holes. Hey, you know we love our holes here on the Adventurous stream. How's it going, DBO?
funneled through into the other by the black hole's immense gravitational pull. So what does any of this have to do with rotating galaxies and the James Webb Space Telescope? Well, one of the explanations that came out of the JWST images of differently spinning galaxies indicates that maybe the universe was born spinning. It makes sense. In our own galaxy, planets orbit the sun, so it stands to reason that this kind of motion is a natural occurrence across the whole universe. But that also means that...
Oh, you're playing with... Why are you looking at me like that? Ugh. Yeah, me and my family are doing pretty good. Say hi, Agnes. Say hi.
Then existing theories about the cosmos are incomplete. After all, none of us are billions of years old, so nobody knows where the universe started spinning from or if it had any observable point of origin.
This is not soup.
No, it's marinara.
Yeah, I could use some more garlic. It has a sweetness to it. Why is it so sweet?
It's tomato.
No shit, Sherlock.
Tomatoes are naturally sweet.
Not that sweet.
These are cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
They're Juliet's. So.
Okay. So you're telling me that's a sweeter variety?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with all the varieties. Yeah. Gotta remember, Kate. Mainly, we grew heirloom tomatoes, which are a very savory.
Yeah.
Like this is a proper sauce tomatoes.
Those are what we call beefy tomatoes.
Yeah. That's primarily what we grew.
Yeah.
Physics is above my pay grade, but some of it is interesting.
It is worth noting that black holes
More garlic.
also spin, with the fastest being GRS 1915 plus 105, which clocks in at over 1,000 rotations per second. Spinning universes and black holes. It's a lot to take in, so let's break it down. One of the core ideas behind black hole cosmology suggests that our entire universe might exist inside a black hole. For First proposed in the 1970s, this theory is gaining renewed interest as new images from the James Webb Space Telescope show unexpected galaxy rotations. To some scientists, that hints that we might be observing the inside of a black hole, because we're already in one, along with the rest of the universe. Now, that sounds like a bit of a reach, so before we figure out whether or not that's what the JWST images are actually telling us, let's get a little more detail on black hole cosmology. Also known as Schwarzschild cosmology, the idea was initially posited by physicist Raj Kumar Patria and by mathematician I.J. Good. They came up with a theory surrounding the Schwarzschild radius, better known to us as the event horizon of a black hole. Like we've pointed out, within this boundary nothing can escape. Not light, not matter, or energy of any kind. And Good and Patria suggested that the Schwarzschild radius is also the horizon of the visible universe. Taking everything we've talked about so far, this theory carries with it another implication. If a black hole is one end of an Einstein-Rosen bridge and a white hole is the other, then every black hole in our universe could be a gateway to a separate miniature universe, a cosmos condensed by the black hole's immense gravitational pull. And yes, you heard that right, there are black holes in our universe. The nearest to us is known as Gaia BH1, located at 1,500 light-years away, with the furthest being QSO J0313-1806, which is 13 billion light-years away. The biggest black hole in the universe is TON 618, with a mass 66 billion times that of our Sun, while the smallest is just shy of 4 times the Sun's mass. If Schwarzschild cosmology is to be believed, then each of those could theoretically contain an entire universe, much in the way that our universe is seemingly contained within a much larger black hole. Think of it like Russian nesting dolls, except each doll doesn't just contain one smaller doll, but several. That's our universe, and all of these smaller ones trapped inside a black hole.
A Jack Black impression, huh? Oh, the dragon's balls were blazing as I stepped into his cave, and I sliced his fucking cockles with a long and shiny blade. 'Twas I who fucked the dragon, fuck-a-lie, sing fuck-a-loo. And if you try to fuck with me, I will fuck you too. You gotta get it on in the party zone. Oh, what's wrong? Did Daddy bump your face? Did Daddy bump your face when he started doing that? And did he hurt your face a little bit? Daddy's sorry. Daddy's sorry. Oh. That better? Emrys, you put your feet in that plate, Grip. Thank you. Daddy's sorry. Yeah. Getting banned is right in his wheelhouse. He should get a certification so he can do it professionally. I don't think he needs to maintain amateur status for national competition or anything. I don't know who Amnus is. My daughter's name is Amnis. Universe size comparison.
But is there a way that we could look inside these existing black holes to see into those supposed other universes? No, there isn't. It seems anticlimactic, especially for all of you who still think the multiverse isn't already played out, but it's actually a lot darker than you realize. Literally, Those universes, if they do exist within the black holes of our universe, would be unobservable beyond the event horizon. Remember, not even light can escape from the Schwarzschild radius, so no visual information can travel from inside the interior of a black hole to an external observer. This also means that if our universe is also inside a black hole, then we too might exist within a far larger universe than we can comprehend. It would be far beyond the bounds of, well, everything that we can observe and everything we can't. As if that wasn't already hard enough to wrap your head around, it raises an even bigger question. If black hole cosmology and the Einstein-Rosen bridges are real, then where exactly are we and all of these other black hole-contained universes going? Does traveling through a black hole for long enough expel your universe out into another, through a white hole at the other side? Well, as far as we know, black holes are born when the core of a massive star dies. This heart consists of incredibly dense matter, far exceeding the density of anything else in the known universe. It is this incredible density that pulls all the other matter inwards, as well as light and energy, causing what's known as, we're not kidding, spaghettification. Yes, that is the actual scientific term. People often describe black holes as crushing matter. You'll see that idea a lot in science fiction, but in reality, when matter gets too close to a black hole, it is squeezed horizontally and stretched out vertically. This resembles a noodle and is how we get arguably one of the best terms in all of science. According to Poplavsky, the coupling of torsion, the constant twisting of space-time, and the spin of the black hole, along with the galaxies and universes within it, eventually become strong enough to stop matter from being compressed indefinitely. And that's a good thing, because what's the matter with matter? Well, compress it too much for too long and you get a singularity. And that's the core of a black hole, the point where gravity and density become infinite. And a singularity forming inside what might already be a universe-sized black hole. It's not exactly ideal, right? But according to Poplavsky, it might never reach that point. Instead, the matter inside would reach a state of extremely high but still finite density. That means that it wouldn't collapse into a singularity. Instead, it would bounce back like a compressed spring snapping outward. This bounce would cause a rapid expansion, and that intense gravitational shift could spark massive particle production, increasing the mass of our universe within the black hole. Poplavsky believes that this recoil could be what triggered the Big Bang. In other words, our universe may have begun inside a black hole, and everything we see today is just expanding outward, pushing back against the forces at the edge of the event horizon. Poplavsky explained that this would produce a finite period of cosmic inflation. And no, we're not talking about the space economy. It would explain as well why the universe on a large scale appears to be flat, homogeneous, and isotropic. All of that got a bit confusing. But according to black hole cosmology, universe to a larger parent universe on the other side, which exists beyond a white hole. But before you start packing for a quick trip to the parallel universe, there is a catch. The white hole exit can't be entered from the outside. So unfortunately, interdimensional travel via wormhole remains firmly in the realm of sci-fi for now. This would make our universe one of those smaller universes within the interior of a black hole, which itself exists in a larger surrounding universe. But how do you get all of that from a few high-resolution photos of other galaxies? Well, it all comes down to the fact that our universe doesn't spin right round. If other galaxies and the rest of the observable universe had a preferred axis and all rotated the same way, with the same bias for clockwise, well then we could all just pack this up. But the fact that not all galaxies spin the same way lends some validity to the idea that the universe was born within the event horizon of a black hole. Given that they form from stars or even the centers of galaxies, black holes also have their own axis of rotation. So it stands to reason that this would influence the rotation of a universe born inside of it. The preferred axis of our universe's rotation could have been inherited from our black hole. This could have also influenced the rotation dynamics of other galaxies that exist alongside ours. That could well be why the James Webb Space Telescope observed a clear asymmetry between the 2/3 of clockwise spinning galaxies and the 1/3 of counterclockwise galaxies. While the discovery that each galaxy rotates in its own direction does support the theory of black holes creating new universes and ours is inside one, there is another explanation to consider. There might have been more clockwise rotating galaxies observed by the JWST as a direct result of the Milky Way's own counterclockwise rotation. It was previously thought that the speed of our galaxy's rotation was far too slow to have any impact on the telescope's observations. But it's considered a possibility that the JWST's distance measurements for the deep universe need to be recalibrated to account for this non-negligible impact. Updating these measurements could help resolve some of astronomy's biggest mysteries, like why the universe's rate of expansion doesn't always add up, or how certain massive galaxies seem older than the universe itself based on current distance estimates. Maybe if scientists keep looking to the stars, we'll find out for certain if we really are all living in a black hole. Now go check out what is a what.
That is so crazy, bro. Still not sure how exactly if the black hole that we theoretically got shot out the other end of, if that thing's rotation was what was affecting our rotation, then you would think that more galaxies were rotating the way we were, but we're the odd one out. So that part doesn't really make sense to me. Either way, though, yeah, Twisted, crazy shit. Crazy shit and fascinating. Holy shit, this thing goes for 10 minutes. We're just gonna speed this sucker up. Moon of Pluto, Make, Dwarf Planet, Lepidus, Moon of Saturn. An oval-shaped dwarf planet. Didn't know we had any of those. Did you fall on your cups? Did you fall on your cups? Do you need some help? Aww. Well, let's get your cups out of the way so if you fall again, you don't bonk your face on them again. Pluto. We finally got to Pluto, which is considered a dwarf planet. Okay, so how big does something have to be before it's considered a planet? Neptune, ice giant. Didn't realize that Neptune was that damn big. I love astrophysics and quantum physics because things are changing so quickly as we make new discoveries. Yeah. Holy shit. And there's still fucking 9 more. There's still 8 more minutes of video. Oh, excuse me, 7. Yeah, 7. Wow. Arcturus. Sagittarius A. Supermassive black hole. Aldebaran, red giant star. Alderaan, super giant star. Pistol star. Blue hypergiant star. And Terry's supergiant star. Yellow hypergiant star. So what's the difference between a supergiant and a hypergiant? Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's literally just called Ton. Oh my god, are you serious right now? Okay, so now we're talking about a whole nebula. Okay. And Twisted, correct me if I'm wrong, a nebula is like a cluster of galaxies, right? Oh no, okay, so it looks like no, nebulas are collections of solar systems then? No, it's free gas, typically hydrogen. It can be either the result of a supernova or where new stars are being formed, or both. Gotcha. Amnes, what is the matter? Come here. Come here. Come here. What are we fussing about, huh? What are we fussing about? Won't be long. Stormy, what you mean? She already is. Oh, sweetie. What is the matter?
It's always fun starting a YouTube video when you just know it's going to upset. It's always fun starting a YouTube video when you just know it's going to upset a lot of people. Today we're talking about how to become an electrician and why any community college or tech school or trade school that tries to get you to go to their program for 2 years to get a certificate or a diploma so that you can become an electrician is more or less a scam.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
And just so we're clear, I am a journeyman electrician. I have been for the past 5 years. The 5 years before that, I was a helper and an apprentice, so I've been doing this for 10 years. Since starting this whole YouTube thing I got going on, I've gotten thousands of emails from high school kids that want to figure out how to become an electrician and veterans that are leaving the military that want to transition over into the electrical field. And this is everything I tell them and everything I wish somebody told me when I was first trying to figure out how to become an electrician. Because if you get on the internet and Google how to become an electrician, it's very confusing. There's like 1,000 different answers. Most of them are wrong, and half of them are trying to sell you something that you need to pay thousands of dollars to get that you don't actually need. And just so we're clear, I have no horse in this race, right? We're gonna play an ad here in a second. That's how I make my money. Once that ad plays, I've made all the money I'm gonna make off this video. Unlike most, if not all the other YouTube videos on this topic, I am not an instructor at a school that I'm trying to get you to go to. I don't have an online course that I've made to teach you how to do this job. I don't have anything to sell you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. So let's play this ad so I can make my money, and then I'll tell you everything.
Nicholas,
Yes?
you've been so good this year. You should go buy yourself something nice.
These magic beans?
Yes.
Okay, what am I supposed to buy?
Something to feed the whole family.
You want me to go buy a grill for Father's Day with magic beans so I can cook you food?
Yes.
Fine.
6.5 hours later.
Careful. Careful.
Can I write something on this?
I don't give a shit.
What the hell is this?
You told me to get something for Father's Day.
Is this thing gonna cook any meat?
It'll cook something.
All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure the data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell, okay? There's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it, okay? It's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either gonna feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're going to collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're going to turn around and sell it to whoever buys it, and next thing, submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it if you want an electrician. The only way to do that is to graduate from an apprenticeship program and then take the state exam and pass it. At that point, you become a journeyman. Then, typically, after you've worked as of 1 year for a journeyman, you are eligible to go and take another state exam that's harder to get your master's license. That's it. That's everything. Anything outside of that is unnecessary and probably a waste of money. There is no trade school or college program that you can go to for 2 years and get a diploma or a certificate and be qualified to take the state journeyman's exam. It's not allowed. This varies slightly from state to state, but I'm going to talk about the state of Iowa. It's very similar everywhere else. To graduate an apprenticeship program, you have to have 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, meaning you just have to go to work as an electrician's apprentice for 8,000 hours, which is about 4 years of working 40 hours a week. In addition to that, you need 800 hours of classroom time and you have to pass a bunch of tests. Now, that classroom time varies from apprenticeship program to apprenticeship program, but typically it's either going to be night classes a couple nights a week for the 4 years, or in my particular case, my boss would just give us a week off and we would go to this school and we would have classes for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and we did that 4 or 5 times a year for the 4 years that I was in. Those classes are paid for by the contractor. If you're in a union apprenticeship, the union has their own schools, and if you're in a non-union apprenticeship, typically the state runs an apprenticeship program. Your contractor pays the state to be able to send you to the school. People argue and get in a big pissing match about which. But if you go to college first, you can get all the classroom stuff out of the way. Almost always, no, that's not true. I think there's 2 or 3 states in the country where if you have a 2-year electrical diploma or certificate or whatever, you're allowed to not have to do the classroom portion of your apprenticeship, but you still have to do the 8,000 hours of work, meaning you're still going to be an apprentice for 4 years. And if you come in with that diploma or certificate or whatever the fuck it is, guess how much more money they're going to pay you as a first-year apprentice? 99 times out of 100, fucking nothing, okay? I went through this apprenticeship program with plenty of people that did this. We made the same exact amount of money. It does nothing.
My offer is this. Nothing.
And that is why it's kind of a scam, right? When you go to, I don't know, nursing school, you graduate nursing school, you're automatically allowed to go take the state exam and get your RN license. You can't do that with an electrician. You go and you get their diploma for 2 years of schooling when your contractor would have paid for it for you. And that's if you're in one of the 3 states that allows that. Almost all the states still require you to go through the 800 hours of the apprenticeship classroom time. So you can literally go to college for 2 years, pay a bunch of money, get your little diploma, congratulations, you're still sitting through 800 hours of classroom time for your apprenticeship. And anybody that says otherwise either A, fell for the scam and doesn't want to admit it, or B, they have some financial incentive like they're an instructor at one of these schools and they want to keep their own gravy train running in so they don't have to go back and work in the field and they can sit in their nice office with air conditioning all day long. I'm going to say it again and slower so it really sinks in. Going to college to become an electrician is not necessary in any of the 50 states in the United States of America, and very, very rarely is it even beneficial. To put this into perspective, if we take 2 18-year-old high school kids that just graduated, one of them chooses to go into a 2-year community college program to be an electrician, and the other one just calls every contractor in town, asks for a job as a helper, and starts working the next day. What's going to end up happening is that helper within 6 months to a year is going to be offered the opportunity to join the apprenticeship program, and he's going to start a year before the other guy. Assuming everything goes well, he is then going to turn out, become a journeyman electrician a year before the other guy, make more money faster, and not have $12,000 of student debt to pay off because he got a 2-year diploma. But that guy with the 2-year diploma is more likely to get hired as an apprentice in the first place. These programs, because these programs tell these kids, oh, as soon as you graduate our program, you're going to be hired as a journeyman electrician and you're going to be making $35 an hour or $100,000 a year or whatever, and it's not true. So then they show up to work, they have a bad attitude, and they already think they know everything. They actively avoid hiring these people for that reason. Because again, in reality, these programs count for nothing. You can graduate this program, congratulations, great job, I hope you had fun, hope it was worth it. You're still getting hired as a first-year apprentice, making first-year apprentice wages, period, end of story, 99 times out of 100. How do I know that? A, I'm a journeyman electrician. B, I was actually one of the guys in charge of hiring new apprentices, and I cannot tell you the number of times I have had kids come in that had some certificate or diploma from a college that thought that that made them a journeyman electrician. So when they come in and I tell them, no, you're not a journeyman electrician, you're not qualified to make $60 an hour and run your own job sites, they're extremely either disheartened or pissed off, and I don't blame them because they just spent 2 years of their life and a bunch of money getting told they're going to have a job paying $60 an hour, and in reality, they qualify for a job that pays them somewhere between $18 and $22 an hour as an entry-level apprentice. And in 47 out of the 50 states, you're still going to have to go to 800 hours of classroom training. Maybe you'll be relearning some stuff that you already learned at college, but that brings into question, why did you go off to college to learn it and pay money when you could have just learned it for free? Buh! Oh yeah, well if you get that 2-year diploma, it can help you advance quicker and make more money down the line when you want to get promotions. Buh! Again, no, not true. That's some bullshit they tell you at these schools to get you to spend money on their program, okay? Having a journeyman electrician's license is like the pinnacle of being a journeyman. Everything below that doesn't matter once you have that, okay? Saying that you're gonna get preferential treatment because you have a certificate or something from a community college while also having a journeyman electrician's license is like saying if they're hiring 2 ER trauma doctors, they're both board certified ER trauma doctors with experience, but one of them also took a CPR class and knows how to do CPR, so we're gonna hire that one and give him the promotion. Not true. They're both fucking trauma doctors. They both know how to do fucking CPR, okay? Nobody gives a shit. You think when some company's hiring a master mechanic to run their auto shop and they have 2 master mechanics with experience that are applying, but one of them has a fucking certificate from Jiffy Lube that says he knows how to change oil, you think that's gonna tip the scales in his favor? No, they're both master mechanics. They know how to change fucking oil. Buh! You're just one of those crazy anti-college people. Buh! No, I'm not. I've been to college. I have multiple college degrees. I'm not anti-college if it's something you need to go to college for. What I am anti is telling these kids that they're going to be making $70 an hour and they're going to be a qualified journeyman so that you can milk money out of them and waste their fucking time. That's what I'm against. Buh! Well, if you get your diploma first, you at least won't have to be the new guy and do all the shitty work. Buh! Look at me. Look at me. Bullshit. When you are the new guy, you will be the fucking new guy, okay? I don't care what diploma or certificate you have. You are gonna be the guy that's digging the ditches. You are gonna be the guy whose job it is to hold the flashlight and shut the fuck up for the first couple years you are an apprentice electrician. That's just how this goes.
Left you a little gift in there. Not too hard, not too soft. Perfect.
And that's not even specific to being an electrician or the trades in general. That's pretty much every career path on the planet. Go watch fucking Scrubs or Grey's Anatomy or any of these other medical shows. All the new doctors have to do the scut work, all the work that none of the more experienced doctors want to do. They have to go do it, okay? This is every job on the planet. There is no school or college you can go to that's going to let you speed run being the new guy, so you might as well get over that right now. And for the love of God, if you went to one of these schools and got one of these diplomas or certificates, do yourself and everyone else a favor. Do not show up your first day of work thinking that any work is beneath you. Because at best, you're gonna get bullied, and at worst, everybody's gonna absolutely hate you. You're gonna get teamed up with some old journeyman that's been doing this for 30 years. He grew up in a house that didn't even have electricity, and when he became an electrician, it was literally going around town lighting the fucking light poles in his town, okay? He's been an electrician since electricity became mainstream. And he is gonna walk you over to a control cabinet that's got 12,000 wire terminations in it, open it up, look at you and say, okay, college boy, fucking show me what's up. And you're gonna be standing there like, fuck, I don't know anything.
You know what all those wires do?
Yeah, of course. Yellow, see? The sun is yellow, it heats the ground, that's how they name stuff.
Is that car running? And you know what? That's completely okay because you are a first-year apprentice. You just have to understand that you don't know anything so that you can learn. So hopefully by now you understand that if you want to be an electrician, you do not need to go to some college program for 2 years to get that diploma. So the next question is, how the fuck do you get into an apprenticeship? This is gonna sound like some boomer back in my day bullshit, but it's literally what I did 10 years ago. If you decide you want to be an electrician, call every contractor in town, ask for a job as a helper, say you'd like to work your way into being an apprentice. You'll probably have a job by the end of today, if not by the end of the week. And if you could show up on time, have a good attitude, and not be completely stupid, you will have a leg up in the hiring process when that apprenticeship slot opens up because the company already knows you. They know you can show up on time. They know you work hard. They probably already like you. You're already one of the boys. In that situation, do you think your boss, when he's picking his next apprentice, is going to pick some dude that came from a community college that has expectations that he can't meet as an employer? Or do you think he's just going to give it to the guy that he already knows and trusts? He gives it to the guy he already knows and trusts. I'll give you the answer. The next question I get asked every single time, is this true for all other trade schools? I don't want to be an electrician. I want to be a welder or a plumber or whatever the fuck. And honest answer, I don't know. I'm not a journeyman in all other trades, so I can't tell you. My best piece of advice would be to get a hold of a journeyman that is in that trade and ask them. They'll give you a really good idea. How do you get a hold of one of these journeymen? Super simple. If you want to be a plumber, look up plumbing shop for me to interview one of your best journeymen or best foremen or best superintendents for 5 minutes so I could ask them some questions. They will almost guaranteed help you out, get you in contact with that person, and then you can have that conversation. It's that simple. Now, that being said, all the trades kind of work with each other. I've worked with plumbers, HVAC guys, welders. I've worked around and with everybody. Generally speaking, from what I've gathered, from what I've heard, again, not gospel, just what I've heard from other people, heating and cooling and HVAC are both great. You should probably go to college for them. I've heard that those programs can help you a ton. Same thing goes for automotive. Same thing goes for like tool and die and machining. Welding and plumbing, it's kind of what you want to do because those are very broad career paths. If you want to be like a residential plumber that's going and doing water lines and putting toilets in houses, school can help you with that. If you want to be a welder like in a factory on an assembly line, welding school can absolutely help you with that. But if you want to be the plumber, welder, pipe fitter dude that's making like $1,000 per diem and $150 an hour because he's got the special skills to do these high pressure welds and all this other crazy shit, the schools are not really going to help you with that. And I know this because my best friend, the best man in my wedding, is that guy. He is the one that gets paid a bunch of money per diem and gets paid a ton of money per hour and has to travel to go do specialty welds that only he's certified to do, and not many people can do what he does. And he went to one of these fancy welding schools right out of high school. He went to, I believe it's considered one of the top 2 welding schools in the entire country on the other side of the country from where he lived. He moved out there for 2 years, spent 40, 50 grand to go to this school, and he was told he was going to be hot shit. He was going to get a job paying $50 to $70 an hour right out of the gate. Came back home. The only people that would hire him were willing to pay him $18 an hour to do welds on a factory line. He worked that job for a couple of years, and then he decided he was going to apply to be an apprentice with the plumbing union so that he could get his journeyman's license. And guess what? He got hired as a first-year apprentice. Guess how much money he made? First-year apprentice pay, the same exact amount of money that people with literally no experience that just got out of high school were also making. He said that there was absolutely nothing he learned at this tech school that was not covered by his apprenticeship over the course of that 4 years, and if he could go back and do it all over again, he would have just joined the apprenticeship right out of high school, saved himself $40,000, $50,000 and 4 years of his time. But that's anecdotal evidence. I am not a journeyman welder or pipe fitter or plumber. I would double check with somebody that is. Now, the next question you're going to ask, because this also gets very confusing, is should I be union or non-union electrician? Full transparency, I was a union electrician my entire career. Why did I end up going that route? Very simply because they were the first company that hired me and they happened to be union. And this is going to piss off everybody because people have very, very strong opinions about whether or not you should or shouldn't be union. Whatever, you can have those opinions. I'm speaking to the 18-year-old kid that doesn't know anything. Deciding that right now is not like a life-altering fate decision, okay? I've met people that started in the non-union apprenticeship, got mad at their contractor, quit, and then joined the union apprenticeship and went on to become union journeymen. I know people that have flunked out of the union apprenticeship program, not because they were stupid or dumb or couldn't hack it, but because they had some own personal life issues going on and they ended up losing their job in the union. They went to a non-union shop, continued their apprenticeship, and they became a non-union journeyman. I've met shitty union electricians that I wouldn't trust to wire my house, and I've met union electricians that I've seen frequently have to correct electrical engineers, and they're absolutely brilliant, and I can say the same exact thing about non-union shops. Being union or non-union is not going to be the determining factor on whether or not you're going to be a good
What I said, guys, was brief intermission. Food is done. Take a piss break. What was that, kid?
electrician, you are that determining factor.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
The only caveat I'll throw in exact thing with, I hope, the majority and the significant amount of non-union shops. However, because non-union shops are less regulated, there is the potential for some contractors to be shitty and not get you the right training with the state accredited program in a timely fashion. So if you're going non-union, which is completely fine, just make sure it's with a good non-union contractor that's gonna get you going to the actual state accredited apprenticeship classes. Again, full transparency, I didn't want to make this video. It's not my
Dude, I
normal
was gone
jam.
for like
It's not
2
some
minutes.
funny internet business, and it's not some history with a war hero or whatever. That's usually what I do here on YouTube. But I did want to answer these kids' questions. So originally, I just made a social media post over on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck you want to call it, explaining this, and the amount of backlash I got from people that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about was insane. So we're just going to go over and read some of the tweets, and we'll actually see how correct they are. Again, just for context, my tweet essentially said that trade schools to become an electrician are essentially a scam because they're not required in any of the 50 states, and you can just get paid while you learn and have your contractor pay for your actual in-classroom experience, and you should just attempt to do that.
So Twisted, you're Italian. You'll appreciate this. My wife made some dumplings filled with cheese. What do you call these, Kate?
They're called gnocchi.
Gnocchi. Okay. And we got some Italian sausage in here. Okay. All in this delicious tomato sauce. And let me tell you, this is just tits. I mean, we're talking gourmet shit here.
Instead, and here are some of the comments that I received. Quote, fuck basic training, let's just grab a rifle and head off to war. No, fuckhead, the apprenticeship is the basic training. Do you understand that? Going to a tech school for 2 years before entering your apprenticeship is akin to going to a community college for 2 years to get a certificate or diploma in being a soldier before you ship off to basic training. It's fucking dumb and unneeded. From Anonymous, buddy, it's not about what you learn. If 2 people apply for a job and one can show a degree and the other can't, guess who gets the job? You live in a country where people are showing college degrees to flip burgers at fucking McDonald's. Saying it's not about what you learn in reference to going to college to get an education is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And this attitude of, it doesn't matter if I learn anything as long as I've got a piece of paper that says I know something, is the reason that nobody gives a fuck about college degrees in the trades in the first place. Congratulations, you're part of the problem.
I'm an idiot! Love
The
that
problem
movie.
with going down this path is a lot of people can't afford to do an unpaid apprenticeship. It's not an unpaid apprenticeship. There is no such thing as an unpaid trades apprenticeship. It doesn't fucking exist. It might have back in the fucking 1800s, but it doesn't right now, okay? I can't speak for every local or every sector of the country, but in Iowa, if you are a first-year apprentice in a smaller town that's the lower paid, our first-year apprentices are making like, I believe, $20 an hour day one with full health care coverage and retirement benefits. It's not an unpaid apprenticeship. And then every year of the 4-year apprenticeship that you complete, you get a raise,
Yes,
and
it's
then once you
delicious.
get your journeyman's license, you get a big raise and you're making like $60 an hour. Quote, or hear me out, you attend and graduate your chosen trade and then enter at top position with top pay. What a dumbass take. No, fuck stick, that's not how that works. You are not gonna graduate from a community college and get a journeyman's license and get top pay or anything else. You are qualified to be a first-year apprentice, and that's fucking it. You will get paid first apprenticeship wages just like everybody else that has no experience whatsoever. Shut up. This is why I'm making this video, because people that know absolutely fucking nothing about this have extremely strong opinions because they've been just from kindergarten through 12th grade beaten into their fucking head that if they don't go to some type of school, they're not gonna make a bunch of money. It's not true. It's complete fucking bullshit. And tech schools are sued and go bankrupt and go out of business all the fucking time because they always get in trouble for fraud because they tell these kids, come here, get our certificate, you're going to be qualified to make $100,000 a year, and it very rarely, if ever, fucking happens. I have no reason to lie to you about this, okay? I volunteered to be on the hiring committee for my union because I like helping kids. I loved training apprentices. I would go back to doing it in a heartbeat if this YouTube thing dries up. So again, just so we're on the same page, trade school, tech school, some program at a community college that gives you a certificate or a diploma to be an electrician is not required in any state in the United States of America, and rarely is it helpful. It's more often than not a humongous waste of both your time and your money.
Trying to help you.
The only people that I would recommend them to are high school kids that are graduating and know they want to go into trades, but they also want to go get a college experience and party and drink with their friends, and they want to learn something applicable to that, and they just have an understanding of they're not going to be hot shit just because they graduated. Good, great option. If you want to go blow 12 grand, make memories, have the time of your life, awesome. Again, same thing with military veterans. You've been in the military for 4, 6, 8, 10 years, and you have a GI Bill that's going to pay for everything, and you just want to go off for a couple of years and party and drink and have fun. A great purpose for that too. Just please, for your own good, do not let them convince you that you were going to get this diploma or certificate after 2 years of a community college and you're going to come out making $100,000 a year and that you know as much as a journeyman electrician, because neither of those things are true.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So yeah, sorry this wasn't a normal Fat Electrician or Fat Files video. This is kind of a one-off. I'll get back to my normal content as soon as possible. I've just had thousands of people ask me this question, and I'm in a unique position with this platform to get this answer out to as many people as possible.
I'm assuming that you're guessing that I'm a father because of the baby jail behind me. That is correct. I hope you're having a fantastic evening, Mr. Saturn. Welcome in. My name is Zach. Here on The Adventure, we do politics, memes, quite a bit of bullshit. Then we get back to memes and politics. Get back to that game because it has consumed my soul. Yes, a very good guess. Truly, you know, Sherlock Holmes level detective work there, dude. I mean, the evidence was so slim, but you hit the nail on the head. I mean, have you considered like going into like cold case detective work? Because I think you could find Jimmy Hoffa. Like, you got the gift. Well, the shirt, when you have the full context, the shirt says a lot more about what I do for work than it does for, you know, my parental status. But yes, I am also one of these. I took inspiration from my God and was like, I can do it too. Who the hell is they, Owen? God, I love kombucha. Especially when you're eating something greasy. Slaps just right, man. Lord Lion-O is Owen. I know him in real life. That's his name in real life, is Owen. Oh, okay. Captain Obvious was over on Kick. Well, you know, based on context clues, Andrew Saturn the Great, I'm guessing that your real life name is The Great. Which is kind of an interesting first name choice. But I mean, my daughter's name is Amnis, which is also not that common. So, you know, I mean, they did something different with it. Have you enjoyed being named the Great? I bet you got bullied in school a lot. But like, I mean, you tell me, how has it been? Get through. I actually really want to get through all of these videos right here, so that's what we're gonna... Oh man, it's already been 3 hours. Look at that. Well, we're gonna get through these 3 videos, and then we're probably gonna wrap up after that, unless someone has a relevant request that we can review if it comes up. We do have church in the morning, but I mean, it's church. I don't have to be fully functional, and I also don't have to wake up until 9. Actually, 10. I don't have to wake up until 10 to be to church on time. So it doesn't matter that I have church in the morning. I can stay up till fucking 1 in the morning if I want, which I probably will because I'm gonna be playing that fucking game.
That's what I was about to say.
After this stream, I'm probably gonna turn the stream off and boot up just on Twitch and Kick, and keep playing. Diplomacy is not an option because that game is consuming my soul. I'm a member of the Church of the Holy Moly. Stormy, I'm gonna go to church. I'm going to church in the morning. I'm just also going to stay up late playing video games. I'm an adult.
She's like, but, you know, sleep deprivation causes ass cancer.
Sleep deprivation does cause ass cancer, but you know what, man? If ass cancer is the price I pay for enjoying my life now, then butthole tumors it is.
Men. What do they want? Money? Status? Fast, expensive cars? What is the ultimate male fantasy? Is it fame? Fortune? 3 hot chicks at once? Hell yeah, brother. No, according to men on the internet, it's something a little more simple. This is literally just a fetish. I fucking hate men so much. Men are why we can't have nice things. As I was working on an upcoming video, I made the terrible mistake of logging onto Twitter, where I saw this post. A montage from the anime Josie, the Tiger, and the Fish, a movie about a college student who's assigned to take care of a paraplegic girl, and spoiler, eventually they fall in love. Many men were yearn posting in the replies of this tweet and talking about how they wish to fall in love and would love a relationship like this, while many others, mostly women, were absolutely f***ing disgusted at this. Why would
Mike from PA crashed out over me in his chat yesterday. That shit was hilarious. Who the hell is Mike from PA? What are you talking about, Mirage? Anime is heretical? Bullshit. Love anime.
be and predatory, right? Also just unrealistic and problematic. Well, in this video, we are going to be talking about why so many men resonated to that clip and this movie, and why so many people are so confused as to why. We are also going to be reading some absolutely unhinged tweets, as usual, to get to the bottom of why such a wholesome post turned into, once again, to get to the bottom of why such...
All men just have the average male fantasy.
Such a wholesome post turned into, once again, another battlefront for the ongoing, never-ending gender war. Men versus women, women versus men, the male loneliness epidemic, the female loneliness epidemic, the dealing with dating apps. Do men prefer thin women or curvy women? Brunettes or blondes? Do women like dad bods or fitting?
Gotcha,
You ever
Mirage.
just accept that some products are just garbage? Like, for years I thought ripping your tights on the first wear was just a part of being a human woman. We just accepted that. That's just how it is, sweetie. But that shouldn't this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad. Tourist of all the tourists. Yeah, hi. I have a question. Was the upskirt shot necessary in order to advance the plot? I watched Pokemon and Sailor Moon when I was a kid, and a few years ago I watched Beastars on Netflix. Legoshi, best boy. Not a furry, by the way. And honestly, that's about it for my anime consumption. Unless you're counting VTubers. If you're counting VTubers, I watch a lot of anime. But
Hey, Andrew. W follow. Welcome to the adventure, bro. Strap in and strap on. It's tame right now. Sorry, my brain doesn't work on 1x anymore. I swear YouTube slows the videos down. No, it's just the society we live in predisposing us towards everything going Sanic fast.
because of this clip going viral, I watched Josie the Tiger and the Fish, and, well, I thought it was a good movie. I recommend watching it. I thought it was a really cute, good story. I only cried a little bit, and I completely understood what the tweet meant by calling it the average male fantasy. So, what was wrong with it? Why did this clip go so viral in such a negative way? Why were thousands of people angry at this post? Well, let us dilly-dally no longer and read some of these angry replies to get a better understanding of what the issue is, shall we? Wholesome male fantasy, and it's fetishizing a disabled girl for him to control. Do pretty perverted. Where are these fan fictions coming from? There were like hundreds of tweets just like this. Why did they see a cute montage of a happy couple, a man and a woman happy, together? I know, unheard of. Why did they see that and then immediately come to these conclusions? Like, as someone who actually watched the movie, Josie is not always happy, and she's absolutely not portrayed as some, like, vulnerable, ooh-woo, sex doll waifu. She's boisterous, she kind of has a foul mouth, she's very sassy and headstrong, she, like, straight up calls him her servant, but she was also very depressed. She basically never left her house. She was basically a girl failure. As a former girl failure, I love to see representation in media. But they actually show her disability, like, not in a good way. Like, they don't romanticize it, they don't sugarcoat it. And I noticed, unlike a lot of movies, unlike a lot of romance movies, at least like the Hallmark kind, where it's like the stuffy male lead learning to live life from the quirky, cute female lead, he's already got
and she
his
likes
shit
it in the butt. Well, I mean, depending on what she's paraplegic from, she wouldn't even notice. So, you know. Oh no, I put it in your butt again by accident.
And she learns to live life from him. He encourages her to live her dreams, and in return, he learns to live life in a completely different way. And I thought that was really cool and sweet. Also, the animation was really good. Is anime good? Have I been sleeping on anime?
You've been sleeping on anime. Shoot. It's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mind bringing some water?
No, I don't know. She's finally asleep.
Entire time. His fantasy is that she becomes permanently disabled and helplessly dependent on him, but can still make him a sandwich. Sounds about right. Oh my god. After watching the movie, these tweets are even more insane. But even putting the movie aside, just seeing that like cute montage out of context, where the fuck are they getting this? These are very clearly just two happy people. But because the caption was the average male fantasy, their mind immediately goes to the darkest, worst faith interpretation of this. The problem is these people can't see any humanity in men. They can't see any humanity in humanity in general. Average male fantasy equals
Accurate.
girlfriend with no agency who's completely physically dependent on you and forced into blanket subservience and compliance. Sounds about right. You males are weird for fetishizing physically disabled women. Average male fantasy is having a physically disabled girl that they can abuse however they want. Got it. Not to be that guy, I'm gonna be that guy. The infantilization of the physically disabled here is a little, dare I say, ableist. The implication here that people in
Extremely
wheelchairs
ableist.
cannot find love, and if they do, the person who loves them literally just loves them because they can't run away. Weird. Average men can't even be nice to their healthy and normal girlfriend. What makes you think they'll be able to handle a disabled person as their lover? Whoa. Normal? What do you mean by normal? These people are just so ableist, chat. Can you believe it? Chat? Chat? I don't even live stream. Who's chat? I'm disabled, blind, so I should.
I love Shu. So I showed this to my boyfriend. He says, "I love you because you're you, and you make my days happier. So what if to drive you places or help cook you with? I wouldn't have done that. Disability, dude. I love you, me."
Showed this to my boyfriend. He says, "I love you because you're you, and you make my days happier. So what if I have to drive you places or help you with cooking and cleaning? I would have done that anyway. Disability has nothing to do with it. I love you." Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but, your boyfriend is a rapist. Sorry you had to find out this way. You show this as fantasy because it's not true for the majority of men who participate in abuse of disabled people. No, the fantasy is the woman appreciates his efforts to make her happy. Stop lying and abusing women and the disabled. Your meds, schizo. Are you okay? The majority of men are not abusers. That is a very, very small minority of men. The majority of men are men that just wake up, take a shit, get out of bed, take a shower, go to work, come home, barging into the romance section of Barnes & Noble like, "Attention, everyone! Rape!" Where is that coming from? So close, this is fetish content. Ah yes, the dirtiest, most taboo of all fetishes. A happy relationship. Honestly, in 2025, that might
Literally.
be true. Oh, you want a wife and kids? You sick fuck. But this
Right.
is literally just a perverted fan.
Oh, you want a happy family that goes to church every Sunday, and you have grandkids in your 60s? You disgust me, you perverted freak. It's like,
Literally, though.
what can I say? I'm a sick son of a bitch. Absolute fucking degenerate.
It's like, oh no. You want a gaggle of children and a wife that cooks you dinner every night? How dare you?
I see, LMAO. You think it's a perverted fantasy because, how do I put this nicely? You are a pervert. Literally seeing a cute montage of a male and female character having fun together, being in love together, and being like, rape! He's a rapist! This is a fetish! Are these people okay? Stop watching porn. Wait, this is a woman. Okay, stop reading Taken by the Werewolf Billionaire. Or whatever the fuck you read. I swear to God, some of the shit women read would make the most depraved internet gooner blush. Or so I've been told. This is literally just a fetish. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna pretend there's nobody out there who's like, she can't run away, she has no legs. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend there's nobody out there who has a crippled, disabled fetish, okay?
Shu, your tongue game needs work. It's more along the lines of... Lessons are free, Shu. All you gotta do is call me.
I've been on the internet for 20 years. I've been on DeviantArt. I've seen shit you wouldn't believe. But the majority of people, probably most, if not all the people responding to this, do not have a cripple fetish, okay? In fact, her being in a wheelchair basically has nothing to do with it. Much like how females coom over, like, vampires or, like I said before, the billionaire werewolf fantasy. This is just the average male fantasy distilled down to its most extreme. So what is the average male fantasy? The average male fantasy is the fantasy of both men and
Hey, Wolf, which part are you saying that about?
women alike. It is simply to love and to be loved. But more specifically, the male fantasy is to be a protector and a provider for those that they love. Put a pin in this because we are going to come back to this in a big way, trust me. The average male fantasy is being a globally known terrorist. The average male fantasy is that a woman who isn't fat. The average male fantasy is actually job security. You know what? These guys may have a point here. Pedophile alert, men want disabled child wives. Average male fantasy is a disabled child. More proof that men are pedos. That's a little girl. This is weird. So, first of all, she's literally older than the guy. The guy is 22 and she is 24. In a hag max.
Meet the Hag Maxers, Gen Z's new social trend of dating older women. A very strange phenomenon is making it rounds that Gen Z men are ditching with their long-term and experienced millennial ladies. Huh. That's interesting. But it's also nothing new under the sun.
No.
Mrs. Robinson was a thing.
And yes, she may be physically disabled, But aren't all men mentally disabled in their own special way? At least the ones in my audience. They will freely admit this. Maybe she, the older woman, is taking advantage of this sensitive young man. Have you ever thought of that? She looks like an 11-year-old child. Where are her breasts? First of all, really weird way to say that. She looks like a child. Show me her titties. Also, I love how like when anime women have huge boobs, it's discussing Kumar brain or whatever. But if the anime woman has small boobs, she is a child and you're a chimo. Can't fucking win. Also, if she had big boobs, they'd absolutely be like, wow, look at this sexualization of the disabled. Also, you know like adult women can be flat-chested, right? Like that actually exists in real life. Like adult human women can have small boobs. We love all titties here on the She One Head channel. All titties is good titties. End of story. Women fantasy. A boyfriend with depth and a loving, soft, deeply caring side of them. Men's fantasy. 12-year-old anime girl who looks and speaks like a toddler. Also notice how she's literally the shape and size of a child. Yuck. Have you people ever seen a child? No, you're all childless. Silly me. She's not even that short. She's just sitting. See, like when they're laying side by side, she's like a full-grown adult woman. Why do these people look at this and immediately think of child rape? Go to therapy. And listen, I know with anime it can get a little weird, right? Like, excuse me, Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan is 2,000 years old and this is Poo Poo Pee Pee Chan. But this does not even look like a child. This looks like a cute woman. This is like a random rant, but I feel like there are no more cute women nowadays. You know what I mean? You have all like the Insta baddies, the e-thots, the e-girls, the muscle mommies, the boss babes, the boy babes. But I feel like every woman is just hot now. Which, by the way, I don't think is healthy for the male psyche whatsoever. You shouldn't wake up and be able to scroll through pictures of like the hottest woman you've ever seen in your life like 20 times before you've had like your morning cup of coffee. You shouldn't log in and immediately be one-shotted by 10 10s all day, as if that wouldn't make you go insane, as if that wouldn't make you crash out. Like
Jordan Peterson said it, but coming from a millennial left-hard female, it hits different. It's like, damn, even she's smart enough to figure this out.
back in the day, you'd probably see like one fine dame on your bus ride to work, and you'd think about her for 40 years until the day you die. That's how it used to be. That's how it should be. Now every woman is like a crazy...
That was a quick upgrade from used to should be.
hot, unobtainable Instagram goddess with the fattest of ass. Zoomers don't know how good we had it. You'd go to Blockbuster and the 21-year-old cashier behind the counter would be the most adorable woman you've ever seen. No Botox, no lip fill, our eyes. But they're hot. They're hotter than they've ever been. They're hotter and more depressed than they've ever been in history. Sad. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, anime. I didn't take my Vyvanse today, could you tell? Men's fantasy. A big titty woman with the face of a 16-year-old that is useful for cooking, cleaning, and sex. Women's fantasy. Gets treated like a queen and a man who keeps tracks of our periods so he can take care of us. I think I speak for a lot of women here when I say our fantasies do not...
I was willing to say goodnight to you. I stopped.
Whoa! Holy shit! Fuck yeah, I'm videoing it. What the fuck?
I think that might be a gas station or something.
Fuck yeah, it's a gas. Whoa! Oh! What the? Holy shit! No fucking way! Oh shit! Oh shit! No, baby! Oh no!
Please. Are we dangerous here?
Yeah, we're dangerous. Oh my god! Oh dear!
Are you filming?
Yes, I'm filming!
Whoa! Whoa! I think we are dead.
Holy shit. I wonder how many people fucking died.
Let's go!
I didn't hear about that when that happened. This is 9 years old. That was clearly a hell of an explosion. Man. Whew. All right.
In fact, include men
That was killed 173 people according to official reports. I'm surprised it wasn't more. That was huge.
Yeah.
I hope their passing was relatively painless. God.
Yeah. Hope it was quick.
Yeah.
Like here and wake up somewhere else.
Man.
Jeez. Yeah.
Tracking our periods. Personally, if my husband was like, honey, just a reminder you're in your luteal phase, I'm taking the kids. Men like to pretend they want this, and then they beat their wife when dinner isn't ready or their son when he's misbehaving. First of all, I'm sorry that happened to you, but there are in fact good
Right.
men out there. I've seen them. Some may be in this very audience. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. This is the Shoe on Head audience. You're all gremlins. Male fantasy equals a woman that can't run away from him. A woman that's dependent on him. Interesting. When men are involved, it's basic survival instinct to assume the worst. Men are guilty until they prove themselves innocent. The man who won't rape her, and a man's fantasy is raping a woman. Brainwashed to hate men. So true. I hate how, but in reality, women are the real demons here. Oh, god damn it. We just want a happy relationship. Is it so much to ask for? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, look, more misogynist.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright, Maru.
Maru was like, hey, I know
Hey,
you,
this
I know
thing.
you like to read books and stuff, so I wrote you one.
Hey,
of
Wobbly.
Wobbly.
A series of explosions at the port of Tianjin in Tianjin, northern China, killed 173 people, according to official reports, and injured hundreds of others. The explosions occurred at a container storage station in the Binhai new area of Tianjin. The first two explosions occurred 30 to the second. It was much larger and involved a detonation of about... Oh, it was fertilizer.
Okay. Yeah, that shit can get hot, man. The pun was not intended.
Is FF considered a weird male fantasy? What's FF? Final Fantasy? What are you talking about? Forced feminization. Yes, forced feminization is 100% a weird male fantasy. Guys that are into that are unwell.
Gooner fantasy slop written by misogynistic Gooner men. This is where men was actually written by Saiko Tanabe, a woman. A woman wrote this story. And I feel like a very important detail everyone is sleeping on when they covered this was the fact that this is very much the female fantasy as well. A man loving you for who you are despite your flaws, literally sweeping you off your feet and carrying you around on adventures, helping you live out your dreams, face your fears, and supporting you through the good and bad times. You're going to sit here and tell me that's not the female fantasy too? Is this not the basic female fantasy? Is this not the knight in shining armor coming to rescue you and falling in love with you? Why on earth are so many women so mad at this? Are men now the hopeless romantics? Are men now the ones yearning for a fairy tale romance? Is this why all the Disney remakes are like,
Shoo. Men have always been the hopeless romantics. Do you have any fucking idea why? Sure, sometimes it manifests in genocidal ways. Every man with an IQ above 95 has the capacity to be a hopeless romantic, and every man with an IQ above 110 is, in some way, shape, or form. That's an exaggeration, by the way, just so we're clear.
She's a strong, independent woman. Meanwhile, men still want to be the prince. Men still want to be the knight in shining armor. Men are like, I will save you from your monotonous 9-to-5 job. I will give you a house and babies. And women are like, no, I must be an actuarial consultant. Be gone, vile misogynist. Is that what is occurring here? Also, that aside,
Yes, that
they're
is
literally
literally-
Mango. Oh, no. Do not come for me, weebs. Men will statistically leave their wives and partners the moment they find out they're disabled or have a life-threatening condition. You're right, it is a fantasy.
Oh, she's good. Okay.
Actually, that study was debunked by the authors themselves, who admitted they did the math wrong. It's actually not much higher, but then again, even if it was, and it happens, I've seen it happen to people, it's terrible. Marriage should be through sickness and through health, but that's...
Hey, cool story, bro. Hey, let's look at the stats on women that leave their husbands for that same reason. Or, you know, wives that cheat on their soldier husbands when they leave the country. Let's look at some of those stats. Sound good?
not really the point here. And the fact that so many people are focusing on the wheelchair part of this just proves that they just don't get it. The ones of pure mind and pure soul get it, but these fucking semen demons out here, they don't get it. But not all semen demons.
Oh shit. I do have a full table.
Ma'am.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello. In the Discord. But, hi guys. The but was that I am indeed staying in the call. Like, that's why I said hi guys.
Now.
Oh my god.
Chuckle fuck. First try to bomb.
The amount of people in comments who just don't get that men want a cute, loving girlfriend is beyond me. They call them creeps for wanting actual love and not a girl boss who only wants your money. Ah, thank you, a sane person. Hopefully the replies aren't full of people calling her a pick-me. Pick-me alert, least obvious pick-me. Me, pick me please. Hope he picks you, sis. Pick me, pick me, pick me. An incel could have written this. Following the mainstream liberal feminist NPC line because they can. See, the most powerful weapon women have against other women is social ostracization. You don't want to be seen as a pick-me or a racist, so you keep your mouth shut and they can say anything they want. They're basically wearing a mask.
Hey,
They're
let's
free
see
from the
how
chains
fuck
of the
this
eternal HR longhouse. But apparently even being anonymous online does
Hey,
not
Wolf.
save them because they still get doxxed for simply not...
Wolf, what?
He muted himself.
And
Muted.
deafened.
And deafened. I meant to point that out more. But, yeah.
Because he wanted to.
Just weird.
have nice things, by the way.
Oh,
Also, I just realized it was a man
Right.
saying that.
Yeah.
It was a whole ass man saying men
I've
are
been
why we can't have nice
shrimping.
things.
Fuck, I'm
I
back.
don't deserve this trophy. This is for you, sir. This is for you. I'm not worthy. Listen, I make women jokes. I'm very critical of feminism and propaganda aimed at women. But you will never catch me in a million years saying some shit like women are why we can't have nice things. I have a mom. I have female
Listen to that
family
fucking
members. I have
shrimp
female
creature
friends.
from
Maybe one day I'll have a dog.
Friends. Yeah, that's the posture I was hitting. My
What?
back is in pay. I said, don't you know that shrimp creature from Smiling Friends?
No.
Yeah, I was hitting his posture. Oh, you don't know Smiling Friends?
No.
Ah, it's such a good show.
I
And
don't,
also-
and what does that have to do with anything?
The back hurts.
That's horrible posture. What the fuck is that?
And also, men who say things
People that like it up the say
men
what?
are why men are why we can't have nice things. The men who say that are usually like creeps themselves and often are sexual harassers themselves.
They're male feminists. Yeah, they're sneaky fuckers, to use Gad
I know
Sad's
that
analogy.
already.
Yep. Parasites. Slimy little worm men that are like, please.
It's not even just that. Like,
Smudging
aren't a lot of these guys
I don't
like,
think
like
the
especially when you look at someone like Andrew
Actually-
Cuomo, also involved in like Me Too scandals?
Alright, how hard do these guys
you know when like
Didn't
the fish
mean
fillets
to
are
do
like over 100 bucks.
Well, guess we'll figure it the fuck
Yeah,
out.
that's like my third or fourth time going back to you guys.
No, I'm gonna figure that shit out.
Okay. Hey, Owen, just so you know, I muted you because, like, we could all hear whatever the hell that was.
Oh shit, they too show.
They told me if it's more than 100 bucks.
Okay, yep, he's still talking. no idea.
Women make the world a beautiful race. Self-hating white people. Don't get me started on self-hating white people. White people are so evil. I hate being white. White people can't dance. White people food is so gross. You're not getting into Wakanda.
You know what's even cringier?
Just let me know. I think you should be able to unmute yourself, Owen. So, but if you can't, just let me know and I'll unmute you.
He's not muted on my end.
Oh, right. He's only muted for me. That's right. That's how that works. I forgot. Yep. So yeah, Owen, just
So
let
I
me know
step
when you're done
for a
having
minute
noise.
to take a shit, and I come back and there's a shitload of people here, and it was just me and I
Yes.
for a while.
Yeah, my bad.
It's fine.
Okay, Leroy Jenkins, these fuckers are slow.
It's fine. Me and Wolf are actually having a really good conversation.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's going with him.
Right, we're having a great conversation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bro, you're not getting invited to the cookout. Enough. But yeah, women were not the only ones who had a problem with this. There were a lot of men who didn't quite relate to this being the average male fantasy. It's fine to love the disabled. I didn't need to remind you that. But you glorify it? This anime is certainly Marxist propaganda. The movie is about him taking a job as her caretaker, and when he learns of her dreams, he makes it his mission to help her dreams come true. So it is Marxist propaganda to help a disabled person pursue their dreams? Yeah, it's woven in. Empathy is the target of propaganda. Marxism is one girl in wheelchair. I love this. Empathy is the target of propaganda. Every piece of media that makes you feel empathy, you are unwell. I'm sorry, but when I reproduce, I don't want a high probability of my offspring being mentally or physically retarded. We need a better class of incels whose bar is higher than the retarded. She's not retarded, she has a spinal injury that's not genetic. Also, what is this LARP? I love how everyone is just kind of having like a normal conversation about this clip, and this guy just comes out of nowhere like, I would never put my pure white seed in such a vile creature. Like, you absolutely know this guy?
Okay, that's amazing.
Has a non-white girlfriend.
I don't want to know. Never mind.
What the fuck?
It's just I'm dealing with fucking bullshit enemies that hit like trucks yet move as slow as a fucking tortoise. And they're in mass. I'm just like, okay, cool. Gotta treat this shit like a stealth mission, I guess.
Are you talking about the anime?
Ring.
That's why I did mage build.
Thank you, Grumple.
It wasn't Grumple.
I was hovering.
Wolf beat you to
I
it.
think it was Wolf beat me to it.
What's that?
What's that? That thing that apparently neither of you have.
I'm the one that muted
Never
him.
heard of it.
Come on now.
Well, yeah, but just because you muted him doesn't mean you have etiquette.
That is true.
Although to be fair, just because you don't know what it is doesn't mean you don't have it either.
No, it just makes
I
him
have
the biggest
selective
asshole on the
etiquette.
call because he actually did it.
What was that?
No, that just makes him the biggest asshole on the call because he did it first.
I'm usually the biggest asshole on the call, so ask Panda.
Okay.
Well, is it you or is it Maru?
I don't know. We can't answer.
Guys, Panda hasn't even done anything yet. Can you fucking stop?
Panda didn't mention me. I feel a little bit insulted.
There's only like 6 minutes left of the video.
We can make it.
We
Well, that's why I
can do
didn't say
this.
anything. When
They
I was
all
hanging
these
out
like
in
I hate white
Discord.
people women always have white boyfriends. All these I hate non-white people boys always have non-white girlfriends. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it too many times. I guarantee you when this man logs off of his Black Sun Roman statue Twitter account, he's clapping Latina booty cheeks. My fantasy is not being a simp, but okay. Fellas, is
might
it
be a
simping?
reason for that. I don't know if you noticed, but a large chunk of the white nationalists, Euro people, a good chunk of them are actually Mexicans or Indian. On Twitter, it's weird how
Yeah.
often it happens.
And Nick Fuentes is a gay Mexican.
Not like him, like Mexican. It's weird.
I actually haven't noticed. You're telling me a big chunk of the white nationalist accounts on X are...
A big chunk of them, but it gets noticeable when you see it enough times.
Huh. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could see Hispanics, because Hispanics sometimes are considered white, but Indians,
Asians
White
are now
have
considered
to
white because of the New York
factor
school
US
thing,
citizen.
so Indians are Asian, hence they are now white also.
Well, yeah, then that also gets into my earlier point. She was talking about how cringy it is for people to self-deprecate the race, and I find it really cringy when Jews say, aren't white people so cringe? I hate being white. Like, seeing Jews talk about how bad being white is, it makes me kind of, like, grind my teeth.
Is it bad being panda?
Sometimes not. That's true for everyone.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna
Whoever
play.
muted me,
To love a
fuck you.
woman.
Hey, I'm finally unmuted.
Nah, this is not the male fantasy. That man is a beta male. If she wasn't in a wheelchair, she would leave him for Chad. Fellas, is it beta
To love a woman.
This is not my fantasy.
sorry.
This is some gay shit, to be honest. Fellas, is it gay
To love a woman.
what no pussy does to a motherfucker? Brother, I've seen what pussy does to a motherfucker, and it's far worse. The average male
Yeah.
fantasy is taking care of their crippled wife. I don't think I've ever had that fantasy before. I thought it was gonna be about going on some quest to kill the dragon to win the princess or something. It is. That is the average male fantasy. But there are no dragons to slay. There are no princesses to save. But there is that little old lady in the grocery store who can't quite reach that top shelf. There's that heavy box the pretty girl you work with can't quite lift herself. There's that jar of tomato sauce your wife can't quite open. There's that Lego set your little son can't quite put together himself. Or there is this paraplegic girl who wants to see the ocean. This is the Princess and the Dragon story. And despite what many are told, men do have a lot of love to give. And they want some kind of excuse or mechanism to show that love. In a world where men expressing themselves is either seen as toxic or gay. And one way of expressing that love is solving problems. Men fucking love solving problems. I don't know what it is. They also love reading Wikipedia articles. The amount of times I walked over and my husband is reading a random fucking Wikipedia article about like the world's tallest buildings or like a random battle in World War II. I didn't know if this was autism or what, but apparently it's a man thing. Anyway, yes, men love solving problems. And in a world that makes them feel useless, makes them feel like they have no purpose, men desperately feel like they need to prove their worth. They are desperately looking for a purpose in life.
I don't use Wikipedia, but I do be researching random shit. Like today, I found out that some people. Hey Wolf, what was the last like random thing you did research on?
That's interesting.
But it actually had to do with psychopaths and psychopathy.
Okay, so related to
Not
your job,
entirely
understandable.
random, because it is what I do. But
Right. Hey Maru, what's the last random thing you researched?
Something about
Generally, I mean, we do like solving problems, but
fuck was it? I forgot what year I looked up specifically.
I would say the most recent random thing he looked up was that thing about the Tianjin explosion.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Literally.
Hey, race car.
There you go. Look it up. Hey race car. Hey race car. What was the last
That was
like
the thing before
random
the
thing?
explosion.
Hold on. Why is everyone talking at the same fucking time when Zach's trying to ask me a question?
That's a
Because
damn
nobody
good
has any
fucking
etiquette
question.
in here.
Yeah, that's fucking true. Hey, race car. What was the last like random thing you did research on?
The last thing I did random research on, probably something about smoking meat and just like looking up a specific temperature to smoke a particular item to.
Man, y'all are boring as fuck. Hey, Grumple. What's the last thing you did random research on?
Turning things into gold.
Oh shit! Yeah, see, that's a good one.
Well, okay, how far in depth are we going as far as like the conducting research.
Well, see, today.
I mean, like.
Okay, so today, so Shu was just talking about how men will randomly read Wikipedia articles about some random shit. And I'm like, I don't use Wikipedia, but I use AI. And today, I was like, why don't I ever feel anything in my lower chest? And I was doing a chest exercise that should target your lower pec, and I was putting my hand on my titty to see if I could feel the lower chest working. And sure as shit, nothing. It's all mid fucking pec right here, inserted right in the middle of my damn sternum. So I'm like, is it possible I don't have a lower pec? So I looked it up, and sure as shit, like 1 in 20,000 people don't have a lower pectoral muscle. And there's like 3 or 4 different genetic anomalies that cause it. So like, I probably don't have a lower pec.
We want to talk about something that doesn't have to do with work. I was researching, what is it? It's a mineral that was dug out of the desert in Utah and basically created this long crack in the earth, named after some guy. It was then ultimately used in the original Ford paint.
That is kind of cool. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Having a light, it was look up how peasants live and then find my way into a blow-up explosion, but okay.
That is revealing. I was recently looking up something about the history of Kabbalah. I was also recently looking up some weird shit about Schrodinger's cat. I was also recently reading Wittgenstein's Philosophical Investigations, so I guess those are some random things I've been looking into recently.
Yeah, that sounds like
Schrodinger's
panda
cat,
shit.
not Schrodinger's penis.
I calculate Panda looking
it's
up
not
stuff about the
Schrodinger's
Kabbalah
penis,
is
it's
not random at
Schrodinger's
all.
shaft.
No, there's
What
stream
does
lore
panda
here. It's
mean in
Schrodinger's
that
penis.
context?
Yeah,
What does
it's definitely.
What does that sounding like panda shit even mean? Like, what is panda shit?
The shit
you know
you
exactly
just said.
what it is, and no, it isn't Schrodinger's. Yeah, it's Schrodinger's Jew.
Thing is Schrodinger's panda.
I feel like
Wait,
Schrodinger's
Schrodinger's
Jew
Jew.
is a Holocaust joke.
It
Yeah, we were
really
getting
should
there.
be.
Is it 6 million or is it
It
not
was
6
intended
million?
that way. Thank
Depends
you.
on
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking more so along the line: is the ashes in that tray a Jew or is it a cigarette?
No.
I
I
mean-
was kind of thinking like, oh, is he in a gas chamber or is he not? You never know, kind of like Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's
Alive.
Holocaust
Oh.
could absolutely be, well, the denial is either valid or fuck no, like almost an entire race of people just got like completely wiped off the earth.
Yeah.
What a
Hey,
terrible thing.
Not everything about the
Alright.
Holocaust is funny. My grandfather died in the Holocaust.
I'm waiting for the
He fell out of
punchline.
the guard tower.
Wait, I knew there was a punchline on there somewhere.
I do. Like I said, I'm waiting for the punchline. I fucking knew.
I'm like,
So-
I knew Wolf better than that to just like
So-
leave it at that.
My buddies and I went to Auschwitz when we were stationed in Germany, which is definitely a sombering experience, but we are totally going to hell for all the stuff that we did while we were there.
Oh yeah.
And I used that joke because we were coming out of the area where the gas chambers were, and my buddy
Oh, Lord.
had like the meat hook in the middle of it, and so he kind of hung his shirt on it, and he was kind of dangling like he was dead, right as this whole group of Asian people walked by, and we're absolutely
Oh, no.
horrified. And so we're walking out of
Was it
there
the gas-
laughing our asses off, and I was like, "Hey guys, not everything's funny." And they like, everybody looked at me like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yeah, my grandfather died here." And they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
Wait,
When you
so
were
I
leaving
missed
the gas
something.
chambers that had wooden doors.
Wait, I missed something. Something about an Asian guy and what now?
So my buddy hung his shirt on the collar of his shirt on the meat hook in the gas chambers, and was
Okay.
kind of dangling as though he was hanging there dead. Right
Okay.
as this whole group of Asians came walking by, and they were absolutely horrified.
Hilarious.
But it's that crude military humor. Like
Yeah.
In order
Especially dark humor. And the thing about dark humor is it's a lot like food. Not everybody gets it.
Right.
Bingo.
Especially in North Korea.
Yeah, especially. And
my
Africa.
humor is more so gallows, but dark humor is very good.
Oh. Oh my god, Grumple. Also, Grumple, you're very quiet.
Yeah, I turned him way up. now.
Anyways, I'm done
He's-
playing Elden of the Ring.
Yeah, he's damn near
I
maxed
feel
on mine.
Dead.
Life. So it is not at all shocking to
I'm
me
kind of
that the
bummed
modern
that,
young man
that
is
Grufus
seeing a
isn't here,
clip like
'cause
this
when
and
I
longing
popped in
for
and you
this.
asked me what was the last thing I researched, I was gonna say something about the ground pounder bombs that they used for bombing Iran, and ultimately just to give Grufus a bombing Iran hard on.
Yeah, see, that's what you should have said instead of the smoking meat thing. That would have been good for my point.
I mean, well, like literally, that was like the only thing I really looked up today. And
It
that was
didn't
just,
have to be
like-
today. It was like I asked you for
know.
the last random thing. You smoke meat all the time. We all know how gay you are. Like I wanted the last random thing you looked up.
Listen, I have a very expensive smoking habit, and it doesn't involve meth. Okay, at least be happy for me.
I mean, you know my stance on homosexuality, bro. I can't be happy that you're out here smoking meat all the time.
Well, listen. You're the only reason why you're unhappy is because I'm smoking meat and you can't put it in your mouth. You're just not here to do it. So, that's why you're unhappy.
Damn, bro, you
about
got
it.
me. All I have is this
apparently,
wonderful
in my mouth.
wife that makes me 5-star meals at my beck and call, makes delicious desserts whenever I want them, but you're absolutely right. I absolutely am just dying for some of that racist car meat in my mouth. You got it, man.
I mean,
Wait. Is
I
your
mean,
quad
get in
might be
line.
different
Everybody is dying to get in line to have my meat in their mouth. Like, my meat is that good that it should go in everyone's mouth.
Hey, race
I was about to
race
say
car.
something that would have played perfectly into it.
Wait a minute.
He puts his meat up
Who beat me to it?
up his ass.
Wait, who's putting what meat up their ass?
I said you might want to put your meat in Zach's mouth, but Kate's putting her meat up his ass.
Well, I mean,
I don't know who the fuck told you that.
It's a pegging joke, you dipshit.
Yeah, I got the joke. It just didn't land, dumbass.
Her meat's coming out his ass.
Yeah, I was totally about to go that route, and I'm like, well, yeah, that, but no, seriously, like,
watch the video.
well, what I was about to say is, all you motherfuckers are more than welcome if you're in the Northeast Ohio area. Fucking hit me up, and I will gladly make some meat to put in your mouth. No homo.
Yeah.
Or all the homo. You could, however, I'll leave that for interpretation.
Hey, dude, if
I
you
don't
make
care.
if you do freaking sausages or some shit, homemade sausages, I will gladly fuck that shit up.
I mean, I do all kinds of.
Deer
I
sausage
do all-
is super good.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff that turns out really fucking good, and
The sleepiest
right back.
podge.
But-
Look at her. She's so
But
podgy and sleepy.
why has it got to be sausage though?
Because twink.
Or are we insinuating on another gay joke? here?
Anyways, I want to finish this video.
fact. A lot of modern
Okay.
men don't have a chance to prove themselves, to make something of their lives. They don't have a chance to provide anything for anyone because they don't have anything to provide, and they don't have anyone. They are doing everything their grandfathers did, but seeing none of the results. They're lost. What can they provide? And as I said earlier, her being in a wheelchair is the protector and provider instinct taken to a extreme. And yes, it is a fantasy, considering if you ask anyone who's actually in a wheelchair, they know it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and they know that it's hard on relationships. It can be difficult on their partner. But just like in the movie, it's not shown as butterflies and rainbows. Josie feels like a burden. But towards the end of the movie, the guy takes on that burden. Not because he gets something in return, but because it's his duty. Because it makes her happy, which makes him happy in return. Loyalty, duty, virtue, acts of service, big or small. Men live for that shit. And yes, these are stereotypes. Not everyone fits into these boxes, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, it's true. When many men look at this relationship, that is what they see. And a lot of modern women are looking at this relationship and being disgusted because in a way, it's the complete inverse of the strong, independent woman they've been sold. They've been told they need to be. The modern woman crafted by modern Disney for modern audiences. Unlike the Hollywood crafted modern woman, this woman does need her man. She is not strong and she's not independent, at least physically. This doesn't mean she's like an empty vessel with no thoughts or freedom. No, in fact, in the movie, Josie does roll away from him a few times. It is a fantasy not because of a power imbalance, but because the man has a tangible purpose, and the woman is willingly and lovingly letting him fulfill that purpose.
Because I can depend on you. I know that if I ever feel frightened, I can just reach out to you.
Men simply want something good to die for, to make it beautiful to live. This manifests in a lot of ways, but the most common is having a loving partner and or a family. Something unobtainable to many people nowadays. So yes, literally one of the most normal things ever is becoming a fantasy. Sad. Also, men will deny this, but they absolutely have a biological clock. It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes with your wife in the morning, and you're not going to be able to get it out of your head. And that is the male biological clock. Everything you do, the money you make working that grating 9-to-5 job, it will all be for something bigger and more important than yourself one day. You will come home to a warm and happy home, greeted by people who care about you, and love you, and rely on you, and everything will make sense then. Until then, you'll just be on the internet, being called a misogynist, for wanting something bigger and more important than yourself, for wanting something beautiful and normal. And that is the average male fantasy. That, and 3 hot chicks at once. Hell yeah, brother! Haha, you know what I'm saying? So that was that little video. Men in the comments, let me know. Am I correct?
totally
Is that the average
speaks
male
to me.
fantasy? Or is it not that deep? Men
Yeah.
and women in the comments, what is
Nearly
your
both.
fantasy? And no, I don't mean that. I don't want to hear about how you want to be crushed by a 12-foot futa. That is between you and God, not you and Shoe-on-Head. I mean, what is your ultimate dream? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want a nice big family one day? Do you want to own a farm? Do you want to live in a shed in the woods and make pipe bombs? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you soon with a new
Smited
video.
Panda. Damn.
Ooh, she had me at pipe bombs. Too bad she's already taken.
Yep.
Great start, yeah.
Or at least it wouldn't be. I mean, or at least it'd be a fun process to try.
Right.
I know she was friends with Vosh, but is she still friends with him?
Oh no. She's pretty much broken off with most of the bread tube.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I didn't hear about that, but I'm not surprised. All right. Well, considering that the table is full, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through any more videos without it taking an hour apiece. So I'm going to transition to diplomacy, and I assume you guys are gonna keep hanging out.
Oh. Diplomacy.
Race card DM.
Diplomacy has failed.
Diplomacy was never an option. All right.
Join order, eradicate liberty.
To those of you that have been hanging out on Twitch and YouTube, we'll see you on the next adventure. To everyone else on Kick and Twitch,